Last week, we started with everyone just outside of the Temple of Shantia. There was a short escape route as you kind of rallied everyone together to quickly move out. Yaden took a few moments to gather up a few treasures from the temple, and then everyone kind of made their way out through the south. The group kind of splitting up a little bit as they went through both like the southeast and the southwest, as Doc and Araxis kind of set a little fire to keep the kobolds off on like the northeast, and the party basically made their way back, saving about 50 refugees from the temple itself, and everyone was able to kind of follow the woods and the river back towards the keep itself. As you all got close to the old tunnel, making your way back towards the entrance, there was a single kobold who noticed everyone, and I believe it was Doc who dispatched him with a quick couple of throws of the knife, killing off the kobold and kind of sneaking everybody into the base of the keep from the back there. And in short order, you all spoke with the Castellan, Escobar the Red, and within a few moments were kind of dispatched to try to save the old mill where the town itself kind of stores a lot of its food resources. Yaden went with you all, offering her healing as a little assistance. You all used the cover of confidence to make your way down the street and essentially walking directly to the mill, with a few key moments of speaking. Madame Eva was able to convince the kobolds that you all were sent by Frulan Mondoth to back them up and to take over if they had to leave as the sun was rising. So the kobolds kind of let you know that they were there to ambush a party of heroes, and in short order, you were able to kind of defuse that situation. And then as it kind of twisted to your advantage, you were able to attack and wipe out, I believe, the entire ambush party, and a few of the kobold sorcerers made their escape down the stream. Key point of order, Madame Eva was definitely able to convince them to kind of start throwing the food stores into the river, making a nice easy way for you all to move all of the
He dropped
food.
out.
Key point of order, Madame Eva was able to convince the kobolds to throw the food into the river, and basically make an easy way for you all to transfer all of the food to the keep itself, so it was no longer in danger by the actual cultists. So I think we kind of just dropped off around that point where essentially the party was making their way back into the keep, having defused the situation at the old mill. And we will essentially jump back into things as you're entering back through the old tunnel. Most of the refugees have started to make their way around like the actual inner areas of the keep. It's crowded shoulder to shoulder with people holding very little belongings that they have. Most people have gotten away with next to nothing from their homes, and other than their actual selves. Despite the actual like fear mongering from the cultists who had infiltrated the city, most people were rather unaware when the attack itself would come and were taken by surprise this evening. It would be probably well into the middle of the night at this point, 1:32 in the morning. From what anybody can kind of tell, it's at the point where there is still a moon overhead, but the moon itself is starting to set. There wouldn't be any signs yet of the dawn, but it is well into the night, and a long day has progressed before you so far. The keep is filled with refugees. Most of the courtyard has kind of filtered out into the outer walls, in the outer areas where people take a little more refuge from the dragon above. Most of the defenders are starting to gain their will from the fear of the dragon above, as its ever-present form has kind of normalized for people above getting over its frightful presence. But you all are entering back into the main courtyard of the keep, where you quickly see the Castellan Escobar the Red in his full plate mail, standing like a mid 5 foot tall in his plate, as well as the Governor Tarball Nighthill, standing still with his arm bandaged, having been injured in the initial assault. You see the guards around the keep walls themselves, as well as a single ballista set up along the main entrance, or over the main entrance of the keep, now being armed and prepared to defend if the dragon were to attack. What would you all like to do?
Well, I guess we had another mission that we had to before we had split last week. We had another mission that we had to run.
You had spoken about trying to go after Madame Eva's tent. You were
Oh,
pretty.
yeah, that's a side quest, but
You were
I think
pretty
there
well
was another
warned
one.
that was likely to have been destroyed. If things haven't been burned in that, like actually set afire, the chaos is likely to have taken that out in the center of town. And then from there, the keep itself, if you approach the walls, is still surrounded by kobolds. Um, but just in general, it's more of what would you all like to do as you are entering back into the keep.
I'm gonna approach the one that got hurt. I forgot. Sorry, I forgot his name right now. Which one was it? Was
Tarball, Governor Tarball, Nighthill.
yeah. I want to go to him as I come in and then be like, yes. Sorry, did something happen while we were away? You don't look like in a tough shape right now.
He was injured when you all first met him.
I'm gonna stick to forgetting that and continue with asking that.
I was injured at the start of the battle, young sir. We were assaulted by cultists. Among the first were in my guards who turned on me at the governor's mansion.
Yeah, okay. I guess you were injured before, but anyways, did something else could have happened at the time we were away? I mean, the world is not going around you, but uh, for everyone else, for everyone. Yeah.
There have been many sorties around the town itself. We've managed very little outside of defending the actual keep. It appears they've given up on taking down the front gate at this point, but they did assault us a few times at different points where we had to man the sally port and take a counterattack to them. It was enough that we were able to defend the gate, but we've lost many in those efforts.
Well, that happens when a cult attacks, and for that, then I'm gonna just go to the side and just take a shot. No, I'm not gonna take a shot rest, but I just wanna wait and just chill at the side for the moment.
Doc will kind of like hang back for a minute before we talk to the big man in charge and kind of get Ava's attention. And I'd like to address her after the last little battle.
Yes, dear.
I do apologize, Madame Ava. I believe I misinterpreted your hand signals. I was under the impression that we were going to ambush them and did not realize that you had successfully parlayed. I don't speak the language of the demon, but perhaps in the future we could work out a better system. I think in time we'll get to know each other and understand our intentions a little better.
Indeed, dear. Usually I like to look for a solution that solves all the problems instead of one that creates more.
Yes, that was an excellent plan, throwing the barrels of grain into the river and making the kobolds do the work for us. But in the end, I think it worked out quite well. But I have definitely gained some respect for your means, and we'll keep in mind your slyness in the future.
Very well. I'll be your huckleberry.
Dear, you could always be my huckleberry. And vicious, I must get your attention as well.
Yes.
quite a formidable warrior in battle. Not that I ever doubted you, but to see you so headstrong to charge right into battle with no fear for yourself, truly inspiring. Glad to have you at my side, or shall I say, on the front line.
Didn't turn out to be the best idea, but it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Worked out quite well, if you ask me. And Araxis, at first I was a little skeptical of your means, as you seem to always slink off into the bushes and avoid any combat. But touche to you as well, sir. You did quite well when the thumb was on the button, if I may say so myself. Excellent shot, my friend.
Well, I must tell you, if it would be for my preference, I would stay in the bush for the most time I could. But I felt like if I didn't step in there, you guys would have some a lot more damage right now because I tried to get some attention on me, and I think we got it pretty fine for everyone right now. I think everyone's looking pretty good. I mean, not good as like going out and having a drinks, but it's good for a night with cultists.
Yes, I must agree as well. A good warrior knows how to avoid the hits. Great warrior knows how to step in line when it's necessary. But you have truly proven that you are an excellent party member, and we are glad to have you covering our asses, may I say so myself.
I'm gonna just say it quietly. Okay, yeah, keep on believing that.
And perhaps it's time we get a little recognition in this town and see what they would have us do next.
Indeed, the night is still young, as they say.
Yes, yes. Even as the sun breaks, does not mean that there's not still much that can be accomplished. I feel like with the light that the enemies may subside, at least for now, but I'm sure there's something that we can make ourselves do. Perhaps we should have a word with Tarball and Escobar one more time, and I'll approach them.
They would each greet you warmly as the group approaches with Aiden, and kind of go over a little bit of questioning what has actually happened for you all. What were you able to gather from the assault on the mill? We were able to hear the word of Aiden and gather the actual provisions, but was the battle well fought? Were you seem to have come back worse for the wear, but all here?
Yes, overall, I would say it went quite well. We slayed about a dozen kobolds. We were unable to eliminate the sorcerers. They fled when they saw our powers, but we were able to at least save the mill. It appears actually that it was just a trap they had set, anticipating that the heroes of the town would attempt to save it. But as we approached, we realized the fires were not actually at the mill. They were surrounding it just to get our attention. Due to the quick thinking and well-versed linguistics of Madame Ava, and obviously the help of Aiden, we were able to secure quite a bit of grain and stop the mill from being destroyed. So we should be able to make it through the winter, especially with the extra 50 people that we were able to save.
Does the name Fulam mean anything to you, dear?
Frulam. Who is that?
Oh, just someone's name I heard. Wasn't sure if you knew.
Were you able to get any information about the cult, why they have come here to Greenest?
Oh, not much, dear. I'm sorry.
Perhaps if there is another foray, you might be able to capture one of theirs. Perhaps one of the leaders, though. And as they kind of look over the keep wall with you, kind of pointing out the two purple-robed individuals, perhaps not one of their strongest, but one of those who would be weaker of wills. We might be able to question them and gain important information as to why they have come here and why they seem so hesitant to kill, but so quick to take.
When you say weaker of will, you mean the kobolds, yes?
Well, it may be in all of our advantage to have someone with a little higher of a rank than just a simple minion, but at the same time, nearly any information would be more than we already know.
I agree, dear.
Yes, if I'm not mistaken, we did observe that they were no longer killing the civilians, but rather capturing them for some sort of demonic plan, I'm sure. I don't know what it would be. Perhaps a sacrifice, food, wisdom. I'm not sure what townspeople could offer to this cult, but perhaps they were just getting new recruits.
And that would be what we need to find out more for. So, if things come to the blade again, perhaps you will be able to find that out. But for now, perhaps we have weathered this evening, and things will be better for us with the day, for the kobolds cannot keep through the day.
Certainly would like some time to rest a little bit, recover some of my abilities.
Well, at present, it seems now would be the time. You are welcome to make what space you can in either the keep itself, or perhaps through one of the walls and buildings within. But I fear with who we've been able to save, there will be little space to stretch your arms.
That's fine. Kind of a safe space for some hours of time, and the ability to take a nap would be good. I don't need a lot of space.
We will go in pursuit of this information. Would you rather have the captured alive or just the knowledge that they carry? Just out of curiosity.
It would be best if you could actually capture someone to question. I don't believe hearsay is as useful.
Sometimes knowledge is heavier to carry than people.
Yes, and I imagine you probably will ask better questions than we do, as we are fairly new to the town, and I'm more for war than interrogation.
I fear you may be missing part of the leadership qualities if your first idea is always to go to war. Perhaps someone else from your group might be able to take the reins and be able to lead a more diplomatic approach. But in the long run, there's little value in a living cultist, but to have one that you can bring back, one might be all that we require.
Oh, I did not mean to give you the impression that I was the leader. Perhaps my charisma is mistaken for leadership, but I'm just better with my words than some others are. But I always prefer the tip of the blade, edge of the spear, so to speak.
And you would see the governor kind of looking around to the other faces, looking for anyone else to kind of step forward that might be willing to try a more diplomatic approach. Killing will not gain us the answers that we require most here, but in the end, we do thank you dearly for what you have done. You've already saved many hundreds of our people with the killing that you've done. But there is always a balance to be drawn between the blade and the lips.
I prefer the blade. Actually, I prefer a large flat surface to bash in heads.
I'm quite impressed that you're able to speak in the least bit, Orc, but we appreciate your blade as well. So, at present, unless you all have any other questions for the governor and the castellan, you all are welcome to try and take a short rest here. Otherwise, we can continue forth if you are looking to venture forward anymore. But at this point, it is up to you all to decide what you would like to try to do with the rest of your evening.
If I'm not mistaken, it sounds like everyone would be in line for a short rest to recuperate, so to speak.
Well, We will see if we are able to take a short rest.
Are you all just going to lay down in the center of the fort on the wall?
If that's the only location.
You are inside of a fort, so I already described you can make your way pretty much anywhere you would like to in the fort, but at present you are standing on the wall.
Don't want to stay on the wall. Would rather be inside.
So he described a few different locations to you, between the Sally Port, the main keep itself, or the different areas inside of the wall.
I would want to go inside the main keep.
Okay.
You guys, I feel like we shouldn't relax too much on the wall here. If we want to relax, we should head somewhere inside probably, because dragons can strike from the air or whatever the thing up there is.
Yes, I must agree. I believe we've earned ourselves a little relaxation, so perhaps we can let someone else stand guard for a moment and we could take to safety.
Doc, I would bet we wouldn't even need someone to stay guard because there's so many people inside. If something would happen, I bet we would definitely hear screams.
Just not be inside anything wood. I don't want to have a building lit on fire with me inside it.
What's a Sally Port?
The Sally Port is essentially a counter-attacking flank across the main gate. It is a side entrance that flanks the entrance through the main gate. So when they were attacking...
Ring style?
What was that?
Like Lord of the Rings style, when like everybody's coming in the front and they like kind of sneak out the side and like attack all the dudes on the bridge.
Yeah, it's designed to do that instead of having the stupid-ass dwarf tossing scene. It's literally like a small gate that you can't really like progress an army through, but you can actually get like a side counterattack to relieve pressure on the main gate, where you can reinforce it and or reapply the gate when it is already destroyed. But it is essentially a small room directly offset from the gate itself.
Yes, I believe we should make our way down to the keep and maybe just find ourselves a little place to lean up against the wall and lick our wounds for a moment.
I'm gonna look at some of my wounds and decide not to lick them.
You want to lick your wounds? Yeah,
It's what dogs do.
Well, I'm gonna join Doc on his adventure to finding a resting place. I'm just gonna follow Doc.
Same. I don't care as long as we're not inside a wooden building or on the wall.
So heading into the keep is among the safest places to be inside of the fort itself. You all can take the benefits of a short rest. If you have any hit dice, now would be the time to gain a little bit of healing. And if you gain anything for the actual use of a short rest, you can also regain those.
Okay, so with the hit dice, what do I do?
So depending on if you've already used hit dice, if you've used them, you do not have access to them. But I believe a barbarian is a D12. So if you need healing, you can roll a D12, adding your constitution modifier to it. You can gain that healing. You can do this by going into D&D Beyond, clicking on your current health, I believe will open the screen. Yeah, if you click where it says current under health. Actually, really, I think the best is, to go under short rest in the top center. You can click short rest, selecting how many hit dice you would like to roll. And then you can use those by rolling the hit die like that. And then once you click the take short rest button, it'll do a little countdown. And if you click it while it's green, it will give you the benefits of a short rest.
Is it becoming the dawn of the next day?
You are quickly approaching it. You guys would be taking a rest kind of from about 2:30 to 3:30. The moon would be setting while you are resting at this point here.
I guess my question is, can I re-roll portents?
Let me actually read portent real quick, and I will give you an answer.
You got it.
No, because it's after a long rest.
Ah, okay. Thought it said at the start of each day, but probably has the long rest in there too.
Yeah, it's not attached to the day. It's just attached to the long rest. So you all would be closer. You all would be closer to approaching, like, exhaustion, rather than getting like a day like that. Just because it is turning into an extremely long day at this point. But it's definitely one of those things where, if not terribly particular about when long rests are applied, you could certainly get multiples per 24 hours.
But we
Sounds
only
good.
get 3 hit dice in a 24-hour period.
You are limited on hit dice based on your level, and then when you take a long rest, you can only gain up to half of them back.
Oh, I thought they all came back. Bummer. Okay, so we're level 3, so does that mean we get 2 hit dice back in long rest?
I believe when you take the long rest, that is one that will round up, so you will gain 2 back.
I feel right as rain.
So inside of the keep, pretty much everyone is civilians, people who are taking refuge from the battle about. There wouldn't be too much more than just a loud din of commotion of others who are just not able to sleep through the night. So you all take a pretty simple rest with little to no problems or noticing any things that are happening about. But as you all finish up kind of relaxing for an hour, sharpening your different weapons, taking the time to wrap bandages, you can step back into the into the fort itself, or you can remain in the keep. You can kind of go about your business as you'd like at this point.
Vicious, how are you doing on projectile weapons? I know you have been using the spears, but would you have any interest in a couple of hand axes?
No, but I'm hoping to pick up a crossbow somewhere. Is there an armory?
It is a castle, dear.
I wonder if they'd let us get something out of the armory.
Doesn't hurt to ask, I imagine.
All right, so after we're somewhat rested, I guess, I will go try and find somebody who looks like they might have access to weapons and that I could get a crossbow from.
I will gladly accompany you. Nothing better than perusing some tools of war.
You might be handy too because you talk better than I do.
Yes, I have many valuable attributes. So if the big boss isn't around, could we maybe just find like somebody that looks like a soldier or a guard or somebody like that that looks well versed, possibly somebody injured so they're not busy?
There are many guards on the walls themselves. You would still see the governor as well as the castellan manning the upper area of the gate from the tower. Otherwise, you see people who are in armor and they're seem to be going about their jobs regardless of whether they are injured at this point.
Okay,
any
I
of
guess.
them-
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask whether any of them looked like the person in charge of weapons. Maybe a sign on their head.
Castellan's a good sign.
Governor, can you point us in the right direction for the armory? We need to secure a couple more resources.
We have minimal supplies at the present moment, but you are more than welcome to take what you might need. Please do not take more than you need, though. We have many who need to be equipped with weapons.
Understood. We're just going to perhaps secure a crossbow for my friend here and a couple of your blunt-tipped weapons, as mine seem to be a little too lethal to accomplish our next mission. So if you just point us in the right direction, we'll head that way.
What would you need as a blunt-tipped weapon?
Oh, I was just joking about how sharp my weapons are. I apologize. My comedy may not be well received in the current situation. I try to make light of things.
It is difficult to make light of hundreds of my friends and fellows dying, but I appreciate you. And he kind of just calls off to a gentleman who is close by with a seemingly injured shoulder, and he yells off, Edmund, come here. Bring your crossbow. And he will pass off a crossbow to you with 4 bolts. You may be able to find more bolts in the armory for a crossbow, but at present I believe it is likely that all around we are lacking. It is difficult to procure arms, especially the more useful ones, when held off in a keep, but you are more than welcome to what you might be able to find.
Why, thank you. Are we looking at a hand crossbow, a light crossbow, or a heavy crossbow for inventory purposes?
Well, you can ask me for which one you want, but that was a crossbow.
Yeah, but I've got 3 options in manage equipment.
It would be light.
Okay. All right, then I would like to go into the armory if that is possible and see if I can find some more bolts for it.
You can roll a d4. I rolled a d20 to find out how many you got, and that's how you got 4, but you can see what you can find inside the armory. You can get 3 more bolts.
Excellent. Thank you very much, sir.
When you go through there, there's next to nothing left in the armory itself. These are just random bolts that seem to have been dropped by people who were hustling through the process of arming themselves as the keep was assaulted, and they seem to be just kind of like dropped to the wayside under racks, and that just takes a little bit of searching for you to find those.
Looks like maybe they will need these more than us, Vicious, and I'll deposit a spear and 2 hand axes.
That's a good idea.
You are more than welcome to leave them off on the rack. Were you actually looking for anything inside of the armory?
Oh no, I just like to peruse.
Machine guns, bazookas.
Maybe a small cannon.
Sounds like a great time for the dragon to attack. You hear people screaming at full volume, shrieks coming across the entire keep. As it would appear, the fear has come back down to Greenest.
Oh, I think I heard my name.
Okay, so let's run outside.
Guys, what was that? I'm gonna stay behind our big orc.
As you step out from the armory itself, having armed yourselves slightly, you see as the dragon swoops down across the long northern wall defending the keep, and in a single blast of its breath, 3 different guards are just consumed in an arcing lightning as they are burnt to ash in the place where they are, and you can see their feet are seared almost to the ground, as if the metal of their armor conducted all of the power through their body, and the eyes are just burnt into cavities, and their weapons just fall to the side, smoldering in fire.
Madame Ava, do you think you can talk to that dragon?
I know I can talk to it, dear. I don't think it's very conversational, though.
Someone should get to the ballista.
That's a good idea.
I'm not gonna do that.
That is the hell of a thing to see.
It's like a fuse box.
Poor souls.
Just to clarify, do I know where the ballista is right now? Is it somewhere on the wall? Can I see it?
The ballista is above the entrance to the keep on the western wall, and at present you would see 3 different people arming it. It takes 3 actions to shoot a ballista. 1 person to load, 1 person to aim, and 1 person to fire.
Well, if there are already 3 people there, then I don't need. Then we don't need to go there for the moment. So guys, I see that they already are using the ballista to shoot, but I feel like they will be attacked if we don't protect them somehow. Someone has an idea of how we could distract the dragon a little bit so they can shoot it.
The 3 people arming the ballista all seem to be shaking in their boots, almost as if they were absolutely useless on their own.
Forget what I said before. Doc, would you like to shoot a dragon? I would help you with that if you want.
Yes, perhaps it's time we show these young men how it's done.
You know,
Do you require a third?
What up, Josh? Welcome.
I did.
I just.
Just to catch you up real quick, I'm not sure if you watched the recording from last week. They basically saved 50 refugees from the Temple of Shantia, where you all had left off there, got them back to the keep, and then went off to prevent the cultists from burning down the mill where they stored all of their food after the harvest. And they've essentially transferred a lot of the grain back to the keep and made it back into the keep. And they've recently taken a short rest here, and this is kind of almost immediately after taking a few moments. So if you'd like, you can take a short rest and spend any healing hit dice. As well, if you need anything from the armory that you would be looking for in particular, please let me know. Otherwise, the dragon is freshly attacking the keep at present, having just killed 3 guards as it did a single swipe across the keep, blowing its breath down and just lighting them up with electricities.
No, my character's still useless until he gets a long rest in, so there's no point in taking a short one. So you guys just carry on along. Cheers, thank you.
So
Yes,
everybody,
it's good to have you back, brother. I trust your time was better allocated somewhere else.
I'm not so sure about that, but it was certainly allocated by something. But it's a pleasure to be back, nevertheless.
Pleasure to have you. So I guess, yeah, we'll give the ballista a shot.
so at present, everybody should be able to see the ballista. I believe I shared it to where everybody can see how that works. It takes, again, 3 actions for each time you would like to fire.
Should be the screen be black because my screen is completely black, so I don't know if there's anything else. I mean, I see the ballista, but nothing else on the map. I just
Yeah, the ballista showed up as just a picture. It didn't actually have like any instructions or anything.
You got to throw your token down on the map.
great. Now I see something.
So wait, are there actual instructions somewhere, or are you just saying the actual ballista itself?
Oh, when I shared the ballista, it didn't show you like the actual sheet for using it?
No, it didn't show that.
No, it just shows the actual picture of the ballista under bio and info, and then nothing else.
Here, give me a second, and I will copy and paste the actual actions that should show up with that then.
The ballista knows where it is because it knows where it isn't.
So where is the actual ballista? Is it on the wall?
On the west side wall above the gate.
Right over here, Vicious. It's not as big as you might picture.
Then maybe you should shave around the base.
Yeah, it's really small.
It is
That's
the
what
size
she
of a
said.
human.
Humans are small. All right, so do we need to lift some, I don't know, bolts? Stick them in?
Alright, now do you see the actions for it?
Yep.
Yep.
Excellent. My apologies, I didn't realize that it wasn't going to show the entire sheet. It shared it as like a note. I didn't realize that's how it would work. But that is essentially the setup for it. I believe if you all allow Doc to be the firer, the dragon is most certainly in range. But at present, the dragon is flown back up into the air and circling high above again. But it's pretty safe to say at any given point, it doesn't really feel a threat and is not really staying outside of the range so much as it is just not close to the keep itself at present.
Let's play a little game of tag.
So who's doing what for the ballista?
You know, you guys, some of you is probably stronger than me. I feel like I'm not that good at loading.
If you need someone to load, I can do it. I'm okay strength-wise.
I will gladly aim, but I'm definitely not one for the loading.
I shall load them for you. I don't mind.
I will pick up anything that needs to be picked up. Is this something one person can do?
Yeah, I feel like a half of be pretty good with loading the ballista.
Just out of curiosity, like out of game, so which one uses the fires like pluses to hit and everything? Is that firing or is that aiming?
It's more or less going to be a static on the actual pluses. The reason why I would say that you should be firing it is because you can use your sharpshooter to ignore the long range.
Okay, and then out of curiosity, can I use superiority dice or anything like that?
I feel like no, because you wouldn't really have proficiency with this weapon without having some sort of siege background, I guess, but...
Fair enough. Yeah, okay, that works for me then.
Yeah, so we will have dog firing thing.
Yeah, for what it's worth, it doesn't really attach the superiority dice to any level of proficiency. I'm not sure if that's just assumed because essentially a fighter has proficiency with everything, but I think that's acceptable enough that you could still... Yeah, and you've got soldier as your background. I think it's acceptable enough that you rock out your battle master in the same way.
Excellent. I've played around with these a little bit in the past, so perhaps we can make this dragon think twice about surrounding our keep.
Alright, so for the people currently standing on the wall, you have already seen that when the dragon swipes down to breathe its breath, it kills everything that it touches. So, just want to throw that out there, that if you are currently standing on the wall, your character has already seen that death is what follows if the dragon chooses to attack you. So, we've got Doc firing, Arlyle is planning to load, and then Vicious will aim.
Yeah, I'll move myself.
Well, wouldn't I be loading?
In the long run, essentially, it only comes down to you need 3 people. Only one person's actually doing anything in particular. Everybody else is just solving a function that needs done.
Okay, that's what I'm about, is solving functions.
I will stay near the staircase and be like ready when the dragon starts to approach the direction where we're staying at to shout to everyone.
So when you feel ready, you are more than welcome to attempt to take a shot at it. It still essentially is, again, it's flying from what you can tell within range, and it is just a question of when you would like to actually take the action.
Yes, and perhaps the rest of us should spread out somewhat as
How
well.
many arrows or whatever you call them are there?
Please just shoot at the dragon. The ballista is there for you all to kill it and or get it to fly away.
We're just gonna make it angry.
As you all are manning the ballista, you see as the dragon begins to swoop low and it is approaching the keep.
Looks like time to tag. So do I just make a regular attack roll or roll a d20 or what?
D20 plus 6 for the crossbow. Or for the ballista.
And I'm potentially going to use a superiority dice, so don't tell me if it hits or misses right away, okay?
Araxis is gonna be shot. The dragon is coming! The dragon is coming, and I'm gonna head down the stairs.
Looks like a pretty good shot, but I'm gonna go ahead and use the precision attack to make sure we get a touch this little bad boy. Oh yeah, that looks real nice.
As Vicious runs and the ballista shakes and loses a little bit of its focus, as it kind of drops, you are able to strike the dragon. But Vicious running away definitely made it almost miss.
Really?
Vicious,
I thought we were supposed to take cover.
it takes 3 people to fire. Was my point was that 3 people have to be on the ballista.
Oh, actually holding it. Sorry, I
Yes,
didn't
listening to Araxis was not a proper idea, and you've actually moved yourself into the line of the wall that the dragon is attacking. So I need the 2 of you to roll dexterity save. DC was 19. So Araxis, you will take full damage here. Vicious will take half. And then for the ballista, I believe it was 3d12, my bad, plus 9. Can you roll those for me, Duck?
How much damage did we take?
Give me a second. It's a shitload.
About to piss this dragon off, Arlisle. It's do or die time, baby.
I would like someone to paint a portrait of me next to its corpse when it falls.
We will definitely go down in history or a blazing lightning storm, one or the other.
My luck's held out this long, so I don't see one more battle being a problem.
Could have lived with that not rolling in public.
Well, even if I would have gotten half the damage, I would be dead anyways.
No, you'd probably be unconscious if you got half the damage, but now you're dead.
Yep, so Vicious will go unconscious. Araxis will burn up in the fire.
Well,
And as you pierce through the chest of the dragon, within moments it pulls off its attack. And you actually see as the dragon kind of clutches at the bolt. And let's see, 35 damage. Yep, it will pull out the bolt. And you see as it climbs higher and higher into the night sky, the dragon seems to fly off. Again, it never had its heart in the battle, and it seems the moment that it was actually pierced with a sizable amount of damage, the dragon kind of said, fuck this, and just peaced out.
Oh, so he was just too high-strung. Looks like he needs a doc.
So...
Oh, shit.
The Aiden will come by and give Vicious a healing potion.
Araxis and Vicious were hit. Arlisle. Does not look good.
So Vicious, you can gain 8 hit points.
So is
Yeah, that's
Araxis
not
full on
gonna
dead?
do
So
that much, but okay, thank you.
Araxis is indeed currently dead.
It's like it can still see his shadow.
I rolled for the random directions to see which walls the dragon would attack next, and it attacked along that flank.
well, that's the reason why I tried to run.
Madame Ava got it when I said if you're not firing the ballista, you should not be near the wall. She definitely would have died on that initial attack as well.
Oh yeah, done
Yeah,
looking
well,
at it.
she's smarter. I thought it was like not on top of the wall, but some cover. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that damage was nearly 8 times Madame Ava's max HP, so I think it might have killed her. Yeah, if it hit her.
I'm pretty sure Vicious is the only person who could have possibly survived the dragon attack.
My max hit point is exactly 31.
Yeah, so if you had dodged and were at max, you would be able to take that attack that it did there. What is that? 12d10. I think that's a little above average though for what it ended up rolling on that one versus taking the average.
Is it if it's more than your max plus what you have left? Is that how it kills you? Because I would have died for sure on a full hit.
Yeah, basically it is if it deals your max hit point in negative damage, you die. So if your max is 31 and you were at 2 hit points, it would only have to deal 33 damage to you to kill you. Because it removes those 2, and then it would deal your maximum hit point beyond into the negatives.
But if I was at 31, 62 would have been the exact amount to kill me, right?
Yes, exactly, yep.
That's fucking nuts.
So it is not in particular built to have resurrection inside of this area. For what it's worth, I would invite you to recreate Araxis. You can make a pretty similar character if you want to just rebuild from that character and kind of twist it as this is somebody in the town rather than somebody who came here to Greenest. But otherwise, I would say let's take a few moments as a break while Jan builds a new character. And then we can kind of progress forward through. But you guys have essentially... I feel like the Battle Master was the one person who could just remove the dragon in the first hit, but it was basically looking to deal 24 damage or a crit to the dragon to get it to fly off. And that was again the reason for kind of throwing it out there throughout the entire night, that the dragon was just half-heartedly kind of flying around.
Just out of curiosity, what did I need to hit?
The dragon's AC is 19, so you had pretty much hit before you rolled your superiority dice. But I would have taken a negative away as Vicious ran, and that could have potentially removed, because you had a +6 from the actual ballista, so you had a 23. I probably would have rolled a d6 as Vicious kind of ran in fear, potentially like essentially bumping the ballista. But rolling your superiority dice, you put it at a 31. There was no way you're going to miss that, even with her running.
Fucking
It
awesome.
wasn't fear. It was caution.
Dragons have frightful presence. The fact that you ran away is 100% running for frightful presence.
Did you lose another character, Jan?
Yeah, I think I will keep the backstory mostly similar to the to Araxis, but I think I will switch to a monk again. I feel like I enjoyed the monk the most.
Yeah, build somebody who's not a coward or a thief.
Do you have the same little the background handouts? I think it's in Discord. You should choose one of those backgrounds still.
Yeah, I was going for that.
And
Give me.
I feel like Madame Eva is the only one who kind of picked up on it. This is a really good campaign to speak Draconic. But let's take I mean, we don't have to take an actual break there. If you all want to actually question the Castellans and whatnot, you kind of ran out to the aid of the keep as you were picking up your weapons. You didn't really question them about what would have happened while you were napping. But you do have that kind of option there as well to kind of catch up on what you might have missed while you were taking your short rest.
Indeed. What did we miss?
The Castellan would be able to point you all towards the Sally Port and take a few moments, and he... Once again, they assaulted the front gates here. We were able to repel them after a short battle, but as they burst through, we had to force our way through the Sally Port to defend it and push them back. But we lost many in the assault. It was well chosen not to have tried to take your rest in the Sally Port itself.
What of the door, the front gate? Is it open now?
We have again spent some time repairing it. The cleric Aiden is able to spend her powers to mend it and keep it a little closer to repaired, though she is not always able to fully repair it. It is an interesting twist of magic that she is able to repair much of it, but little pieces seem to still weaken it over time as the assault happens. But she was able to, in general, make enough of the door that we were able to replace it, and then little bits of reinforcement have been able to be placed on it. But at present, I don't believe we will have a working gate for some time, having spent such effort to bar ourselves both in as well as out.
This town needs more carpenters.
We have many who practice the trade of carpentry, but perhaps none who are specifically dedicated to it. Most of what we do here is to grow the food for the lands about. We often just bring in carpenters for executing the building projects that we need.
Sounds like some gaps in your funding. Times of crisis will usually reveal those.
It has been a blessing that the Lord's Alliance sent you when they did. If we had not had you for reinforcements, we would have surely been lost here. It is well appreciated that we are under their guard, and normally their protection is enough that we don't have to worry about such things.
Oh, Lord's Alliance didn't send me. Gundren sent me, dear.
You all have come here, and you were not the answer to our request?
No, not that I know of, dear. Everyone's here for different reasons, but Lord's Alliance not among of them.
What an intriguing twist of fate. And you'll see as the Castellan looks towards Night Hill, we expected the Lord's Alliance to reinforce us. We were surprised to see such a ramshackle group, but apparently you are our saviors nonetheless.
Glare
Indeed.
at that comment about ramshackle.
You have put your trust into quite a motley crew.
Well, you do look very much like hobos. We thought it was some sort of disguise for you to be able to pass in without alerting the actual cultists. And then making a shot such as that, we were most assuredly thought you must be soldiers of the Lord's Alliance, for no, just homeless rabble could do such heroic things as stand face forward into a dragon's assault.
Yes, very good, but can we just circle back to the hobo comment? I'm assuming you weren't including myself in such statements, right?
I'm a gypsy.
Look at those muddy boots you wear. Surely you are homeless. Are you not?
Oh, why would you have to bring up the boots in a time like this? They were clean just this morning.
My apologies. I've always found that if you have to judge a man, you judge him on his shoes, for they always tell the truest of stories. And he'll kind of bow low to you as he essentially is presenting his neck and bows well below his waist.
Well, I appreciate the gesture. It's most kind, and I forgive you for having such muddy roads around here.
Your impression was spot on about me, dear. I'm a gypsy.
Yes, we don't really have use for roads too much. It's often just those who are taking grain between the large cities, so it's hard for us to take the time to apply stonework to them. It's not all that useful. It's a pretty common thing in the middle of nowhere in these grasslands to have just dirt roads between the larger areas. But again, I believe this might be... And as he's speaking, you would hear a loud horn sound from the front of the keep, and all eyes would be drawn towards the kind of main focus of those who are standing out front, and those who have gathered around the two purple-robed warriors who seem to be commanding the assault and the siege at present. And as kind of silence draws everyone's attention in, a large blue dragon-like humanoid creature steps forward with a massive spear in hand. Oh, my bad. Is it all cast in shadow still?
Oh, yeah, the dynamic lighting can't see the other side of the wall.
I put torches out on the other side. I was thinking it would be enough. And I've got daylight set. I don't know where the daylight is coming from, though, so that might be part of the problem.
Depending on how zoomed in or out I have my map, I can see a small triangle of that area, but only enough to see like at the quarter of one counter. Yeah, so I can see all.
So at the back here, well, I don't really want their names really applied, but you can see the two different warriors who are clad in purple robes, one of which is a large dragon-like humanoid, and the other is a female. Both of them, a female human. Both of them are clad in purple robes, and as the large humanoid dragon-like creature steps forward, you hear it yelling out in a common but drawn voice. Would your champions do me the honor of stepping forward? Or, if you will not face me in battle, perhaps I can invite you out with the spine of your people. And it will hold out just a small human, probably about 3 to 4 feet tall. And this little girl is just like flaying in its hands as it must stand almost twice its height. And it holds this person out. Would anyone step forward for my challenge? Or should I consume this for your cowardice?
He's bluffing.
Yes.
Doc will look over at the party and say, "It's a good day to die. I'm your Huckleberry."
Yes, it is a very good day to die, but I suppose no 2 days are not. But I think in this situation, he's doing that because we have quite clearly a superior tactical advantage here. You know, we're fortified, we're in here, we're safe. It's a shame that one more must die, but I feel as though many more will if we are to go out there. Look at how many of them there are. We're weak, we're tired. It's not a good time to start a battle. Perhaps we should point the ballista straight at him and see, well, her, sorry, and see what they say.
As you all discuss this, you see as a guard from the northern post seems to run up to the edge and yell out, Nina? Nina, my dear? And then the governor himself would yell, Sergeant Margot, step back to your post. My friends, you've demonstrated your powers all through this frightful night. I realize this is an awful burden to ask you to bear. But any of you has a better chance to defeat this horror than my militia here. If you dare step forward into this combat, though it may be dire, you are perhaps the only ones who can save my people, who that beast holds.
We
I
will save
understand your
this young
reasoning.
girl. Oh, go ahead, my
Go on.
bad.
I guess I understand your reasoning and I understand your passion behind this. This is a child. We don't want a child to die, but I feel as though, as capable as we are, vaulting over that wall and entering battle will allow us to meet our certain doom, and that child will die regardless. I don't know if my party feels the same way, though.
Shoot the hostage.
Doc will step up to the edge of the wall and hold his bow up in the air and say, "Release the girl. I'm coming down there to have some words with you."
Well, I suppose I can't let you go alone, can I?
The choice is yours, brother. I've made mine already.
It pleases me to see a champion step forward. The girl will be released, win or lose. They will be free, but at the moment, she will stay with my kobolds. So is Doc heading out alone?
No, I'm gonna go with it.
Before we step out, I'm going to say to the group, This is our chance to take him alive. We need to drop him. Whoever strikes the final blow, knock him unconscious, and then we can drag the body in and figure out the demonic plan.
All right, so I am not going to go out because I am feeling very weak, but is there anyone I should be shooting?
This is meant to be an honorable combat. As Doc steps out of the gate, you would quickly see that there are plenty of numbers against you, that it is once again one of those situations that are you all to step away from the idea of fighting honorably. It may quickly turn against you and kill everybody involved.
All right, I will not shoot anyone.
How are you doing for health, my friend Doc?
I'm only 2 points shy. I'm doing just fine.
I'm going to put my hand on his shoulder and say, well, good luck anyway, and I'm going to give him 2 points of lay on hands.
Welcome,
Thank
little
you.
human. And you see the dragon standing above you. Probably, I don't know, do you have your height filled in? Probably at least 2 feet taller than you.
I'm like 5'9".
Yeah, so she stands just under like 8 feet tall.
I will look back at Arlisle and Ava and say, if I fall, make sure you save the girl. And if you can, don't let them defile my body. But probably nothing worse they can do in life and death that I've had in life. Off to my end. And then he'll throw up a 2-finger salute and step forward.
This battle has already turned well to our favor. I appreciate you coming forward to offer me some combat that may be pleasing to enjoy. I assure you, this will be an honor-bound combat. My kobolds will do no harm to your people, nor this child. But if things turn, you will all be slain on the spot, and we will take your keep. But at present, my lord beckons us to leave, and I wish for a taste of joy of battle.
I don't agree with everything you said, but it is understood. But we will do battle in a well-lit area. And I'm going to pull out a torch. Can I throw a couple torches in like a square or circle or whatever?
When you mention it, she will signal to her different creatures around the area. I thought I had it well enough lit that you wouldn't even have to ask. But as she signals, you see as the different humanoids around the area all light torches and present them around the area that you will battle.
Okay, I was going to say, otherwise I could have cast light on you.
Your view will not be an excuse to call out this battle as having been a failure, for you will die in honorable combat.
Is that like a big tree right in the middle there, or what are we looking at on the map?
It is just an all-around an open area. There seems to be rocky formations that the different cultists are more or less standing around in this relatively natural circle. But that is essentially dirt in the center, and then it's kind of grass outside of that little area. But it just seems that that central area is just like more well-trodden. But otherwise, besides like some loose stones, it's more or less a makeshift fighting pit.
Understood.
Is there anything else you would ask of me before we take to battle?
Can I tell if this guy is, I guess, what was it, weak-willed? That's what we were looking for?
This is one of the actual commanders. From your description that you would have heard from the kobolds, this is Lenderosa Cyanrath, the dragon leader who commands most of the kobolds in this area. You would have also heard from the actual, from the governor and the Castellan. They had both kind of mentioned, perhaps this is not the person that you want to take battle with, when they reference perhaps it would be best to capture somebody of a ranking leadership, but not one of the actual leaders in purple.
Gotcha.
Landerosa will bow low. Shall it begin?
I'm ready when you are.
And in a pretty typical kind of fighting style, she will basically just approach close but kind of remain at a little bit of a distance as she more or less circles and tries to get a feel for what you are approaching to do. But the two of you can roll dexterity to take initiative.
Like instead of initiative, roll dexterity.
Oh, no, I just meant like an actual initiative roll. So as the two of you circle about in the combat, are you actually trying to get into the combat, Ben?
Not at the moment, but just putting myself in the order just in case.
All right,
I need
this
to get
is
in there.
again a setting that is meant to kill anybody who betrays the actual fight.
Sure. Yeah, I won't break any rules, promise.
So you can circle, and she will essentially kind of just be placing herself at a distance, making a feel for what you bring to the table until you are ready to make the move.
Okay, my bad. I'm just getting a look of what's going on here. All right. So Doc will take a few steps back. I'll prefer my combat at a distance. And then I'll pull out 2 daggers and take a yuck. 22 for 7. And I'm going to do a superiority die for going to do disarming attack on him. So it will do 7 damage plus an additional 8. And then he has to, I'll post up disarming attack. Oh, it doesn't say the stats. Ignore that.
Is 13.
Yeah, it's 13.
She maintains.
Okay, so it'll be 15 damage, and then I will throw another dagger. Obviously a big miss.
She is going to catch that dagger and throw it directly back at you. For a 12, should miss.
Yeah, that'll miss.
And will that be the end of Doc's first turn?
5 more feet back, and then I'm gonna look at him after he catches the dagger and throws it back. It like zips past my ear, and I'll say, formidable combatant, I see. This is gonna be fun. And now it's my turn.
Do you accept my challenge only to run in fear, little one? She will move forward and throw a spear directly at you, and then follow it quickly as she draws a second spear from a... Damn, why can't I think of what archers use? A quiver at her waist, and she throws a second spear at you as well. So a 20 and then a 13. I believe the 20 for 9 damage.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a parry on the 9 damage. So it will parry 8 of it, so I will take 1, and the other attack will miss.
And it will go to Madame Eva. Are you going to do anything?
I should probably kind of slip around this way. Yeah, getting in between these two guys here. Ooh, this is exciting, dear.
And then to Doc.
I will step forward. Actually, no, I'm going to step back to right here. And then I will say to her, perhaps you and I do battle a little differently. I prefer to use tactics. And then he will take the dodge action. Yeah, right there. And then I'll take the dodge action. Show me what you got.
Are you actually back at the table right now, Jan? She will immediately move back to where one of the kobolds is holding one of the little child, and she will again pick up the child by the neck after having dashed back there. And she says, "If you did not come to do battle, this child's life is forfeit. Do battle or leave. I want a champion who fights."
Did you not get a dagger stuck in your neck? Did you not throw spears at me? If this is not battle, what do you ask for?
We have more to sacrifice. This battle is for the pleasure of war, not to throw trinkets about.
I don't believe you had specified. I was under the impression that you were looking to draw blood or have your own drawn.
Yes, perhaps another is actually willing to stand in battle. But if you run around and leave, you are just playing the pheasant.
Can I talk, or am I out of it?
Essentially, this is outside of initiative.
All right, I was going to say. Well, clearly you haven't seen him do battle as I have, and I, for one, am currently very entertained seeing you go at each other so far. Did you not want to challenge? Do you not want to test your abilities against a difficult foe? Well, I can assure you he is that, and he fights in a very tactical way. I'd like to see if you could outsmart him.
Would you rather fight an old woman, dear?
The least of my kobolds could kill you, woman.
Perhaps there is another amongst you, a true champion that will do battle without rules. It's one-on-one was the only thing specified. So is there one amongst your ranks that would care to do battle on these terms as we have agreed? Or will we be changing them along the way as we lose?
You are welcome to return to your keep, but the present child will remain with me until a champion comes forth who cares to do battle in the arena set forth.
Just as I suspected, you will be changing the rules as we go. Would you care to draw a line on the ground so we can re-change the rules and continue our battle? Because I've only just begun to get a taste for blood. Yeah, I was not under the impression that there was like rules other than it was one-on-one combat, so.
It's meant to be this circle.
It's like Judah.
This is purely meant to be a combat with a superior foe, and that is the entire point. It's one of those things where this campaign is built around the idea that you are fighting people who are well above and beyond you. The tactics and running around is just going to prolong something. It is meant to knock Doc down and then end the combat, and the girl is yours, and they leave.
Okay, so if I stay in the circle, I mean, can we keep fighting, or is this pointless?
I'm just trying to say that this is not meant to be something that you guys were ever supposed to walk away from. You were supposed to either go out there and battle in a battle that is unwinnable, or let that guy go out and die to her, and you see the actual status of that person. It's one of those things where it's not... It's just, I don't know. I don't even know how to express it.
Okay, so if I stay inside the circle and try and use tactics to fight him, is that okay? Or is it just, once again, going to cause a problem?
It's not meant to cause a problem, but my point is this character is not going to willingly fight somebody who's just going to run away constantly. It's meant to be an honorable combat, not somebody running around throwing knives as they run from the other person.
Well, that's what my character is, though. So, I mean, do you just want me to go stand there and you can just strike me down and then we can just do the next thing?
But what I'm saying is the actual challenge of saying, before anybody even came forward, I'm looking for someone to fight in one-on-one honorable combat, is meant to draw somebody forth who is actually going to fight in melee, not necessarily have you fight in the way that is ideal for you. The choice to not fight her is the way that you guys fight intelligently. It is not in her character to continue forward with it. She would return to the child and murder the child on the spot.
Except she's bluffing.
She walks back to the child and tears out its head and its spine and throws its limp body into the center of the pit.
Well, now nobody wants to fight you, jerk.
Bring forth the next. And the kobolds bring another commoner forward.
You are a coward. We had terms and you agreed to them, and now you act like this? Pathetic. I mean, I don't know what you want me to do because you're not even letting me act. You're not letting me do anything. You're killing the person I came out here to save. I mean, I don't know what you want me to do here, honestly. I literally asked you, do I have to stay inside the circle? You said yes. And then you said, but you have to just basically stand there and let me fight you. So, I mean, if that's what you want me to do, if you want to just knock down my character, you can just knock him down. That's fine. I mean, I don't understand what you want me to do.
At this point, she would wave you all back towards the keep. She would say, you are welcome to return. You were not the champion that I was looking for.
What if we do a little retcon? Charles not dead yet. I'll go in the arena and I'll fight a one-on-one.
That is perfectly acceptable. But again, she is looking for someone to fight in an honorable one-on-one combat.
Yeah, I'll do it.
But that's not what you're saying, though. You keep saying honorable one-on-one combat, but what you really mean is you want someone to stand in the middle and melee battle only against you, correct?
Imagine it's the UFC. They don't let people run around the edge of the arena in the UFC.
That's exactly what I'd do, and I'd bring.
Israel Adesanya,
Exactly, like you trying to catch me.
Israel Adesanya is literally the undefeated champion, and that's all he does. He's probably the best fighter ever. So,
Well, back when I watched it, they didn't really allow that.
But if what you're saying is you want someone to stand in the middle and just stand there and just take turns punching each other, that's completely different.
This is literally why they call this fucking campaign out for being railroady, because it is meant to have a combat of one-on-one, a champion, like a night-on-night battle for somebody's honor to determine like the lawfulness in the court of King Arthur. This is meant to be a challenge where essentially the party, having been beat throughout the night, comes forward and fights one of the generals of the cultists to find out that this general is well beyond your capabilities at the best of things, let alone where you are currently at, and then you go back along your way. It's not meant to be a deadly combat. It is a combat where they essentially defeat you and then send you back having shown their strength. But it is purely this person absolutely frustrated with her lord for recalling the cultists having not been enjoying battle at all.
Okay, well, so Doc, are you wanting to go in the one-on-one battle and melee, or do you want me to do it? I'm perfectly happy to do it.
I can do it too.
No, there is no need for this. If that is what you are asking for, perhaps you should just specify and make yourself a little more clear. When you say combat, I picture it a little differently than two creatures standing next to each other, blatantly swinging their weapons.
But that's how I fight combat, personally.
Can change the terms, but you will release the girl. And Doc will set his bow down by Arlisle and show his daggers, but say, "Don't worry, I won't be hurting you with these, young lady." And then he will equip his shield and his rapier. Is this more your style? We can just poke each other.
You're a daisy if you do.
You still have initiative. You can attack at will.
I will do a single rapier attack against him for a 10 to hit.
A 10 will miss.
Give him the old one too.
He wants to have a spitting contest with someone chewing on crackers, if you know what I mean. Your turn, young sir.
22 for 11 slashing.
Hits. I will use a parry. So I'll take 4.
And then a 10 should miss.
I will make a single rapier attack against him. I will use disarming attack against him. So it'll be 9 damage and a DC 13.
She will save. And is the rapier just single attacks? Yeah, you don't have multi yet. 19 for 13 slashing.
Hits.
And 19 for 12 slashing. As she draws the great sword up and across your body twice with 2 quick attacks with this massive blade that's nearly the size of your body.
Not bad, not bad. Let me stand here and take your blows so you can be happy. I will go ahead and use second wind. Not sure why it doesn't add the 3 in, but it'll be 9, so I will be back at 10 instead of 1. And then I will take the dodge action. Actually, no, I'll just attack. I don't want to dodge and upset you again. Let me stab you with my little stick. Oh, I missed.
Assuming a 13 misses.
It does.
And an 8 will miss. Draws across twice, clinking off of your shield, and then out of the way as you dodge to the side.
Now you're just playing with your food. Go ahead and finish me. And Doc will roll around back and then stab him in the butt.
11 will miss.
And then I'm going to second wind, take the dodge action. Go ahead, finish me. I insist.
12 will miss. And a 10 will miss.
Stop playing games. You said you wanted to battle. What are you doing, you fool? You've clearly outmatched me. Poke him with my rapier.
20 hits.
Your turn.
Drawing the great sword high, bringing it down for a 17.
Hits.
9 more damage. And then drawing it across in an uppercut for an 8. You'll dodge out of the way.
Back at 1. Woe is me. I am outmatched. Let us do battle. another rapier, and then he will look straight at the dragon and say, "Go ahead and best me, but you will release the girl." And it's your turn.
She will turn and walk away as she gives the order to release the child, and you all can return with the child.
An interesting move, but you are a dragon of your word, or whatever you are. Formidable combatant.
Return to your keep and take presence in yourselves, for the queen will soon return and this entire world will burn.
Doc will scoop up the girl and hold her in like the wedding carry or whatever, and look at the dragon and say, "We will see each other again in combat, and when we do, one of us will fall. Until then, best to you and your troops, for after seeing this, I'm not sure how they will look at you." And he'll walk away.
Ava will wave by with all of her fingers splayed out and curved slightly. Well, that turned out better than I expected.
Yes, it could not have been closer to finishing me. I was literally on my last breath multiple times. But we have saved the girl, and I'm sure that will make his troops second guess him.
Jared,
Yes.
could you add the token to Roll20 so I can add the new character?
Doc will pull out his flask, take a drink himself, and then he'll pull out his water skin and give a drink to the young girl. And he will say, "Release your captain that he may take his daughter, please." And he'll like just go down to one knee in the middle of the town square. Sergeant, whatever, I've been through hell. That was the deadliest combat I have engaged in since I did battle with the one and only Inigo Montoya, the greatest swordsman to ever live.
I heard you killed his father.
I did not kill his father, although the accusations were thrown around, but the truth is he is quite the warrior.
Indeed.
And then Doc will hold up his hands and show, as you can see, 5 fingers on each.
As you all return to the keep at the first sign of the rising of the sun, you see as it seems the cultists are pulling back and cease their siege of the keep itself. And it will go to you all to take a long rest. For the first time in this long battle, you are finished with the siege of Greenest.
Good job, guys.
Could I have a short moment? I will try to put my character in there, and I will approach Doc and be like, "You fought well with that one. I mean, he's one of the strong ones from the Dragon Code. You really did great, even if you heard that. You know they're fucking strong." And then talking to you, you see like a small, really chubby guy with some brown hair and not really long, mostly short and just yeah.
Doc was currently like leaned up against the wall, like kind of sitting down on the ground, and still got the flask in one hand, bleeding profusely, barely can even speak. And he will pull out his tinder box and a cigarette, and he will look up at this gentleman. He will light his cigarette and take a big hit. Cigarette.
Oh, a cigarette. Yeah, I would like to try it. Yeah, can I try the cigarette? Yeah.
Yes, you can have one, but I was actually speaking to the cigarette. Cigarette, I'm going to enjoy you like you were my last. And he'll take another hit, and then he'll light one and give it to this gentleman. Who are you, friend? Ugh.
Oh, hi, nice to meet you. My name is Hader, and I was the whole time I was like in this manor, I forgot, in this castle and thing here. You know, I didn't really fight so far. I thought I just watched you guys fighting, and I really feel like you guys was really great. And I, well, I tried to help at some point, but I somehow always ended up at places where I would be alone. I don't know how I did get there, so you know. And you?
Appreciate
Who are you?
appreciate the compliments, young sir. I am the one and only Doc, at least for a little longer. My reputation precedes me in most areas, but I'm new to this town. We have lost a formidable warrior recently, and could potentially use a little help, but if you did not fight, what makes us think that you will fight when the time comes? He'll cough up some blood all over his cigarette and then hit it again.
Well, I will make the fucking Dragon Cult pay for what they did. You know, I don't. I mean, a normal fight wouldn't be for me, but if you guys want to fight a Dragon Cult, that's where I step in. And normally I would have joined you, but I somehow missed my opportunity right now.
We could.
And there would be a problem with. I feel like the Dragon Cults wouldn't like seeing me.
I'm sure he would roast you up like a big fat onion. But I'll tell you the truth, we could use a thick boy on the crew. What type of proficiencies are you good with your hands?
Yeah, I actually I come from a monastery, so you're quite right with the hands. I can punch people with my hands. That's all I can do.
Interesting. You definitely wear the clothing of a monk, so to speak.
So wait, so you come from a monastery? So are you like a monastic monk?
Yeah,
Aren't you pretty
That's
skinny?
awesome.
He's a thick boy.
He's got like a shaved head at the top.
yeah. He's like I felt like I would want to try a fat monk.
Vicious. All out. Eva, come meet our new friend. I believe he said his name was Haydair.
Oh, hey there.
It's Hader. Yeah, it's Hader.
Hey
It's
there,
easy.
hey there.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm glad to see they brought the shoe shine that I requested. Would you like to start right away, or maybe I can give you some time to bed it?
Well, you should give me probably some time. Yeah.
Oh, nonsense. You could sit on the stairs and do it, dear.
No reason to doubt his polishing skills. Look at that dome. That thing is shiny as hell.
Yes, I'm particularly fond of the way I can see my own reflection in it. What a wonderful reflection it is.
I plan to have him with hairs, but I'm gonna change that.
Some unanticipated canon events have occurred.
It just needs to be changed.
While everybody prepares for a long rest, you can all level your characters up to level 4.
Ooh.
Do I get my hit points back?
You get a long
Yes.
rest, so you will have everything back except for probably a single hit dice, depending on how many you used.
Oh shit, we made it to level 4 without anybody.
Oh, hey there, hey there.
I didn't even realize that the name is Hader. Just
Hey there, I have a feeling that just being a part of this group, you will instantly feel more powerful.
what do you want to say? Do I not look powerful?
No, more powerful than you've ever been. You look quite powerful at many things.
You'll feel more powerful.
Did you ever get punched by a monk who's like really lightweight? And if you say that hurt, you never tried to punch by a fat monk. You know how much weight is behind my punch?
I won't disagree. To tell you the truth, I'm 100% sure you could knock me unconscious with a single blow in my current state.
Yeah, but we're not. So I don't want to punch you. I just want to tell you, you definitely not want to get punched by me. Yeah.
We'll be glad to have you on our side then.
As you all are speaking, you see Eaden, the cleric of Shantia, kind of standing quietly behind with a small chest, relatively ornate, though it is carved in wood, in her hands, kind of like at her belly. And she just seems to be patiently waiting as she looks on at Doc.
What you got there, darling?
We thank you for all that you've done for ourselves, and the blessings of Shantia be upon you. But more than that, I would like to give these select artifacts of our lady to you for the sacrifices that you've made, including above all being able to save the last child in such dire need going forth as such. If you would be welcome to accept these gifts, we would present them to you in our grace. Thank you very much.
Oh, we will gladly accept. As a matter of fact, the pleasure is all mine. And he'll take the chest from him.
So everybody should see that. And again, I'm going to take a short break here while you all do some leveling up. But you can determine what you would like to do with those items from Shantia as well as essentially preparing for your first actual day in Greenest. We will pick up the next, I guess it would be early afternoon. It's probably about 4:30 in the morning. The first signs of sunrise are picking up as all the cultists seem to be leaving the grasslands of Greenest.
I want the healing potion.
Oh, my bad. That healing potion's actually gone. She gave you that to you to save you from the dragon.
Damn
I
it, I
believe
had
you
it.
got the healing potion already.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yep.
Thanks, Shantia.
She had 5 healing potentials for you all, the 3 healings that she has, and then 2 healing potions, and you consume them all. And then if and when somebody actually figures out what the robe is, I'm pretty sure a robe of useful items actually has them on the robe itself, so it's kind of clear what it is. But as somebody goes to use that, we will actually generate the other items that it includes.
Perhaps
Yeah, I'm
the
looking
lady
at it.
should have.
What was the last thing you guys said?
What's it called? I said that maybe we should give it to Madame Ava, and Jamie said she was going to look it up.
Yeah, Madame Ava sounds good for that. Still don't know what it is, though.
I mean,
And
that's
Google
good
it.
for anybody, but
You know,
It's
I
basically
wouldn't want to take any item at the moment because I just joined with a new character, so it would make much sense. And yeah.
yeah. So I've taken my level up now, and I've not increased any stat points. Instead, I've got healing word, so I can bonus action heal now.
take the scroll of grease.
I was gonna pick up cleric, but I'm too stupid.
Yeah, that robe of useful items is crazy.
The healer's feat should also be on everybody's radar, because that is likely better than being able to cast other things, including taking like a side class.
Damn, you could just have the robe and it's just got 100 gold pieces spontaneously stuck to it. And a ladder.
It's
Yeah, that's not-
4d4, so it's between 4 and 16 extra patches from that list.
That's a lot of money. Could be.
And shape water. It's grease and shape water are the 2 I can
Window.
use.
Window.
I think you can take the scroll of frostbite too and be able
Oh,
to
I
transfer
can,
that
but
into your book.
I've already got frostbite, I think.
Oh yeah, I generated all of those things at random, so I wouldn't be surprised if it doubles up.
Yeah.
I didn't really generate them for anybody in particular. It just so happens vastly they are aimed at Madame Eva.
Yeah, no worries. I can I still use scrolls if I don't do the school?
Outside of schools, I believe scrolls just require an actual check when you go to use them if you can't normally cast it.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, like the Vicious Mockery, unless you all eventually pick up a bard, would just be like a one-time use, and I think it's just like, I think it essentially comes down to like a charisma check almost to see how it like works when you go to read it. But I would have to look at that. I've not really played around with casting scrolls outside of your class.
Yeah, what I took, by the way, sorry, it isn't a point in cleric. I took the feat for magic initiate, so it gave me 2 cantrips and a spell from the cleric class. So I took word of healing, or healing word, sorry, and then I also took Toll the Dead, and I think the other one was Thaumaturgy.
Yeah, I was just saying it in reference to the healer's feat is extremely powerful, and maybe even more powerful than that, though healing word is, again, one of the most overpowered spells in the game.
Yeah, because I've got my lay on hands for effectively a healer feat ability, so that's why I thought I'd forgo that. So I can now heal people at range using spell slots, and then also get in close and touch them and bring them back. But I'll be saving both of them for when people go down anyway.
So are we taking fixed hit points when we level?
I do not have it set one way or another inside of this campaign. I am a proponent of rolling, but as it is currently set up, allowing fixed hit points is better than average because it takes the average and rounds up rather than like rounding down as the game would normally do. So it is essentially taking the average +1 instead of just rolling for it. But I think as far as a dice rolling game, it is more entertaining when you roll dice.
Okay, so I'm gonna roll a d12. Is that it?
As long as you are taking another level in Barbarian, it is indeed.
Isn't it a D12 plus your charisma rank or Constitution?
Yep, Constitution is added, but that should be added automatically with D&D Beyond.
Cool, I'm just going to little girls.
Yeah, I'll take a little bit of time and add grease and shape water to the book.
So I think inside of, I don't know if either of those should not be divination, but I think it's 1 hour to copy a level 1 spell.
Yes, and
That-
I should have some ink already in
Oh, okay.
one
I
of
was
my
gonna
bags.
say, save it until you get ink. Don't actually use the scroll. Use write them in your book, and then you'll have them permanently.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. And I've already got ink from one of the packs or whatever.
So
Oh,
that
yeah.
would consume the scroll as you copy them in.
I think it's 25 gold worth of ink to copy a spell, or 50 gold worth of ink to copy a spell, but it's only 25 if it's a divination spell.
Right.
But yeah, any of the scrolls before we use them, or instead of using them, you guys should potentially try to like learn permanently if we can. And then I don't know how anybody else feels, but honestly, I think Ava would probably be the best with that robe. I mean, it's useful for anybody, obviously, but I mean, it just seems like the type of thing where she could pull some clutch stuff out of her hat with it.
Sure.
I mean, it's obviously up to the whole group, but I mean, it's not really the type of thing for me, obviously. And I think it would be probably the most useful on someone like you.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I said at the start. I think we should give it to it.
All right. Should definitely hold on to it. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely a clutch item for sure. Just had to find some interesting ways.
All right. How did you do that thing, Ben, where you rolled hit points specifically?
When you're in the character creation, or the right after the very first title screen or whatever, you go to next, and you have the place where you select your levels. So you select, whatever level you're gonna add, like 1 level of barbarian, and then underneath it, it'll say your average hit point. But then you can hit the button next to that that says roll, and it will roll the hit points and just use that instead.
Maybe I set it at the beginning for standard or something.
I think D&D Beyond is likely to start it off normally with it set at take the average, because again, they give you above average.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And it adds your con modifier, but only after you've done or if you've completed the character. So you don't have to add anything to the roll.
Yeah, I still don't see how you did it, so I'm just going to roll a d10 or d12.
D12.
Okay, then. Good thing I have a modifier.
Do you re-roll on a 1 or do you just take the 1?
Just take it.
I've got a modifier of 5. It's all right.
Oh, wow. It's got 44 other patches. Wow.
Yeah, and they're epic, dude. So it could be between 4 and 16 other patches, and some of that shit is fucking sweet.
So if you're taking it, you can roll 4d4 and we can generate those.
You won't get 16. You won't do it.
Yeah, but you could get windows and gold.
Got 9.
So roll 9 d100s.
Oh shit, the spell scroll, dude. That 77 is clutch.
So you've got 1 silver coffer, which is essentially 1 foot long, 6 inches wide, worth 500 gold. 2 iron doors. A wooden ladder. A riding horse with saddlebags. Actually, my bad. You've got 3 iron doors. 3 iron doors. And then I think 2 rowboats. And then a spell scroll. And 2 mastiffs.
What were the 2 things before the iron doors?
The silver coffer. And it was 3 iron doors.
Okay, cool. So 1 silver coffer, 3 iron doors, 2 rowboats, 1 spell scroll, and 2 mastiffs.
A wooden ladder and a riding horse.
Silver coffer is worth 500 gold pieces.
Awesome. I will put it together.
Yeah, let me
How
know
do
when
you
you add that on D&D Beyond, and I'll check to make sure that it came out correctly.
How do you figure out what spell scroll it is? Is that random too?
When he's ready, we'll generate that.
Yeah, that's sick.
I feel like essentially that's one that until he actually draws it from the robe, he won't be able to actually tell.
Like literally pull off the patch and it's like, surprise!
Well, I mean, the other thing is take a spell scroll and just
turn it into something.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just like peel it off and then copy it into your book when you're bored one day.
So, hey, I took the healer's feat, but I'm gonna need a healer's kit. How do I go about getting that?
You just have to buy them.
Okay, so are we at a place where we can buy one?
You're among the worst possible places to do it because you're in a town that's just recently been sieged, destroyed, and pillaged. But you can certainly try.
They have no band-aids left. All right.
It's the same thing as asking for equipment. It's just a terrible time to do such because they want to help you for helping them, but they are also being pillaged.
Well, yeah,
Alright.
I get that.
And it is added as well in D&D Beyond.
So what about the rest of this stuff? Did somebody claim it?
I haven't claimed anything 'cause none of it seems to go too well with my character.
No fancy boots.
No.
I mean, I'm not terribly interested in anything besides a healing potion, but somebody should take it. The other stuff.
Let me just check the list again. What does the potion of growth do?
Well, I think we already used the healing potion. That's what he said. Is that was the one that they gave us, like when you died.
Right.
The potion of growth.
I'll take the potion of water breathing because I have that pirate background and it seems kind of cool and character-like.
Pretty sure the potion of growth like makes you extra big, and then you do like you have bonuses to your strength, and then I think you do like an extra D4 damage or something like that.
You guys can also just add those things to the party loot and use them when you need them.
Okay, so that was the potion of growth then.
I thought
Yeah,
we,
I've already added it to the party loot.
I thought we weren't gonna use the party loot.
Yeah, if you're taking an item, I'm just deleting it.
Oh, are you managing the party loot list right now?
No, it's well, yeah, I'm actually in there right now, but my point is that like something isn't on both your person and in the party loot list, so there's no reason to label something as Eva and Vicious. Like once you actually take it, just delete it from the party loot list.
Okay, so then the potion of healing also gets deleted, right?
Yeah, I was like literally in there deleting stuff, but I quit as soon as you said that you were in there, so I'll just let you do it. The only reward that Doc needs is the life of that little innocent girl.
Yeah, the design of the robe of useful things in D&D Beyond is silly. It says no customizations, like where you would normally be able to put like a long list of notes. It's like the perfect item to have customizations.
Right.
And they're like, haha, this is the one that you can't.
Yeah, I'm just putting everything in the in my Beyond or my what is it, Roll20 sheet, because that's the one I use to play. So
Yeah, I can't wait till we're in a pinch and Madame Ava pulls out like a 10-foot ladder. And you're like, where'd you get that? And she's like, I've had it the whole time, dear. You didn't see me carrying it. Like,
Yeah.
if only there was a way out. We're trapped. And she's like, there's a window right here. And you're like, I just looked. There wasn't a window. Where'd that come from? She's like, it was there the whole time.
Yeah, I was gonna say those iron doors are gonna be a bit.
Yeah, I just love the part about carrying windows around. And
Yeah, it reminds me of that scene from Matrix where they're like, they changed something. And that was your last opportunity ever to be able to roll a single die and like double your hit points, though.
yeah, no, I think I'm rocking it pretty good with 13.
Oh, shit. I added the 9 because you rolled a 9. That wasn't actually a silver coffer.
Okay, what is
That
it?
was the number of rolls.
Oh, I saw that 2 in roll 20, and I thought that was your hit point roll. Roll 1 for 2?
Yeah, it was. It was his roll for hit points.
Oh, I was just joking because if you rolled a 6, you would have like doubled your hit points.
Each time he's taken a level in Rogue, he's gotten 2 hit points. That's fucking shit.
The other part is like, I mean, even if I roll a 6, it'll still be a 5.
So if you roll a 2, it goes down to 1, or is that already taken account for?
No, if I roll a 2, it goes down to 1. If I roll a 1, it goes down to 0.
So wait, you
That's why
had
for
8?
2 levels or 1 level, I think I rolled a 2. I didn't get any hit points for that level.
So you have 8 hit points now?
I have 13.
Oh, you're a tank. Put you on the front line.
Yeah, I mean, I can almost take a hit and still be alive or be able to survive.
2 times when Lenderosa hit me, it took me down to 1 life left.
Well, I meant like not just getting killed outright, because if I got hit with a something that hit you with like 14 damage, it would kill me outright.
Oh, yeah. I just meant like literally how crazy that fight was.
Oh, that fight for sure. I still can't survive a crit yet, but
depends on what's critting you.
no, I mean, what is it? 26 would be the what kills me.
Yeah, and I feel like it was destiny for you to roll back to a monk.
Yeah, I feel like it just told me, you know, just stick to punching with fists.
Did you take a staff too, or just melee?
Well, I have the quarter staff again, but I will see if I use it. Imagine that the character is just a fatter version of Carbon.
What'd you take for your ASIs, ability scores?
It's the point buy. You mean the point buy? I mostly do the dexterity. Don't have it in my head.
Well, no, like because you're a human, you get like the like 1 feat or ability score improvement, and then because you're level 4, you get one also. I was curious if you took feats or what.
Yeah, I took a feat. I took the wait, I forgot its name again. I can't see it. Give me a second. I wanted to take the durable feat to increase my constitution by 1, and when you roll a hit die, regain hit points. The minimum number of hit points you regain from the roll equals twice your constitution modifier, minimum of 2.
And what's your other one?
Oh, I only have one. I'm a normal human. I'm not a variant human. I'm a normal one, so I get instead you get +1 to everything.
Oh, I got you.
To strength, dexterity, constitution, and everything. And I think the variant human can take the feat.
All right, the robe's edited on your D&D Beyond as well now.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
So is everyone currently all set? Are we leveled up to level 4?
Here.
It's good to go.
Yes.
And just to check, the silver coffer is not on there?
Yeah, that was a mistake on my part. Because I wrote 9, and then I followed with all of the numbers without realizing that it wasn't actually a roll of 9, it was the 4d4.
Understood. Yep, that checks out as 9.
And I'm not entirely sure how the Mastiffs work, but I feel like that is a single action to release 2 Mastiffs, not that it counts as like 2 different patches for free.
Oh, okay. Then I think, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I am still short 1 patch.
Is that looking over on Roll20?
Just from that list you had given me before. But let me check on D&D Beyond real quick.
It's 3 iron doors, a wooden ladder, 2 rowboats, the spell scroll, and then the Mastiffs.
Yeah, so 1 wooden ladder, 2 Mastiffs, and 1
the
spell
riding
scroll,
horse.
so that's 3.
3 iron doors, 3 iron doors, the wooden ladder, a riding horse, 2 rowboats, spell scroll, Mastiffs.
All set.
And then I listed the other 12 items just in the same notes because once you remove them to determine it, again, it's silly how it's set up where it says it's like, oh yeah, you've got 21 charges, but it doesn't actually delineate the fact that there's really 2 of those 6 items.
I can't believe you rolled 21 twice in a row, but overall 3 of the same thing.
I think stuff like those iron doors are probably the best item to really pull off of that thing for getting through big problems.
The iron door is pretty cool. The window is pretty cool. I like the Mastiffs. That's pretty fucking awesome. Obviously the spell scroll is really good. The coffer is really good for money, but I feel like we would only get like $250 for it. But still, like this low a level, that's a lot of money. Oh, but I think that was a mistake, actually.
Yeah, I think the windows are a cool little treat, but I think the door is far more useful because the problem with getting the windows is that it's very limited to be able to get through. The door, I think, is 10 foot wide, so you guys can add a door and assault a room like in a massive surprise round instead of actually like, yep, we're going to put a window up here and one person is going to go prone and sneak into this place.
Oh, shit. I was thinking the other way around. So, wait. You could put the door somewhere where there's just a wall and then walk through the door?
Yeah, 2 people abreast can walk through the door. So your party can get through the door real fast, whereas the window is definitely something that you have to like crawl through.
Yeah, I was thinking it the other way around. I was thinking you put the door up in a doorway that's already just an open way, and then it becomes like a wall that's like blocked, and then the window you could put like in an area where there's just a wall, and then you could climb through. But that makes sense that either one could do either.
So
Yeah,
is that a single use? Like, is each thing only one time?
Essentially,
Yes.
like, once you use it, you've used it. But, like, once he pulls out the ladder, you guys can carry a ladder with you. It's just probably cumbersome. So you might leave a ladder behind. But, like, a 10-foot pole, once you pull that out, you're probably likely to just carry it with you strapped to your backpack, until it's not really much that you would forget it behind. But yeah, essentially those are just things that once you use them, you've used them, but they just store really easily in the patch. But like, once you pull that riding horse, you've got a riding horse. You just have to start taking care of it. There's no reason to say that riding horse has a specific time until it essentially gets abandoned or killed.
You have to remember, a
Right,
riding
same
horse
with
is
our
for life,
masters.
not just 1 minute.
We're just all gonna be like walking down a trail one day, and then we look back and Madame Eva's on a horse. Like, where'd you
Right,
get that?
that's
She's
the first thing she pulls up.
like, or like, we're all like, jump in the water.
My
we can
legs are
escape.
dead to me.
Yeah, right. We're like, jump in the water, we can escape. And she's like, just get in the boat, dear. And we're like, where'd you get a boat from? She's like, it was parked right here. What do you mean?
Can we rename the item Madame Ava's prison pocket?
Dude, I can hear you digging around in your prison pocket.
Always check a convict's coin purse.
Get in the boat, guys. Just don't smell.
God, that's so funny. All I could picture is that Will Ferrell movie where he's about to go to prison. Oh man, I can't think of the name for it.
Dude, Deadpool 2 fucking wins that scene.
The film's called Get Hard. I was in the other room.
Yeah, that's it. Get Hard. I can't believe I couldn't think of that. Yeah, it's so funny. He's like a white collar criminal, and then he's about to go away. So he like trains. It's Will Ferrell's like the main guy, and he hires Kevin Hart to like train him to be like a badass because he thinks Kevin Hart went to prison and he's really just a regular black guy. That shit's so funny. Kevin Hart's hilarious, but I like Will Ferrell from like the old school stuff. He's really fucking funny.
Yeah, same. Will Ferrell's one of my top favorite comedians of all time.
It's so weird though. A lot of people I talk to will be like, "Oh, Will Ferrell, nah, I don't really like him," or "He's all right," and it's like you either love him or you're just like impartial. It's such a weird, like, I guess because he's kind of like slapstick, kind of like goofy comedy.
He's very improv, so when he's on a script, it's not funny, or it's not, at his best. When he's got the ability to run off script, he gets some of the best lines. I think "Milk was a bad choice" was one of the improv lines.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the people that come from shows like Saturday Night Live and stuff like that, where they have like skits kind of planned out, but then half of like the lines are really just like the people being funny as hell. I feel like they have such a huge advantage over somebody that's like just an actor who's like, I can only read what's put in front of me. I think like true comedy really is just like natural off the cusp kind of thing.
It has to be. It's all about timing.
Is everybody back at the table currently?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So as you all awake, it would probably be roughly around high noon with the sun high in the sky. You'd see the keep bustling around you. People seem to be kind of moving here and there. Everybody seems to be going about things, attempting to kind of get some sense of normality returned as they are trying to accomplish the different things for the day. You would see a young man braced on a makeshift, not a cane, crutch, kind of leaned over on his right side. He's wearing a kind of like sea mist blue waistcoat that kind of drops off into like a flowing robe almost, covering over just like a dark black leather like pants with a white shirt and blue gloves. And he seems to be speaking with the Castellan and the governor, and they seem worried. But as you all come to and progress over there, you would see quickly as the three of them turn to you and kind of in a moment of joy kind of turn to you, and they will yell out, "Well met, it's good to see you all awake." And the Castellan and the governor, would turn to the young man and say, "Nasem, this is the ones you were looking for. They might have words from your master, Laosin. Have you all seen a monk in the past night when you were about the town? Did you see a man dressed similar garb, this sea mist blue? dark pants, white shirt. Would you have seen him about the land in the battles? Did you see him? Was he alive?
Oh, they're not talking about our thick monk, are they?
No, I don't think so.
Nope, I'm assuming Haydare is wearing his bright orange robes that his picture shows.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he would be in like burlap or something because he was a monk.
The truth is, we didn't see anyone that didn't make it back with us that was still living, to tell you the truth.
That is most unfortunate. We were assaulted in the defense of the city early in the night, and we were separated. I was hoping for any word of him. My order will be at a great loss if he has fallen. The most we have heard is that few of his artifacts were found across the ground in the northeast of the town near the square. His staff was broken, and a piece of his adornment was scattered to the mud. We were hoping to hear word of others who might have seen him in the battle.
Have you heard any word of my tent, dear?
My bad, that was like echoing through, and I did not hear what you said.
Oh, I was just wondering if you had heard of my tent, dear. What is its fate? Is it still standing?
I have had no messengers come back to talk about tents. We had a lot of people die, and actual people dying seems far more important than a tent. But, well met, little lady.
Damn this fog of war. Well, if your friend is in that area, you're in luck, because that is where we're headed.
The governor will turn to you, and in a moment of clarity, look to you all. We have little that we can depend on our own for. Many of our greatest warriors were slain and injured in very extreme ways through the evening. Those who stood up to the dragon have been killed, and fewer have remained safe from the actual kobolds themselves. If we supplied 25 platinum for each of you, would you consider chasing down the cultists? To the southeast they have gone. We believe their trail would be easy enough to track, but we have none to send after them.
30.
The 25 platinum, I would hunt and kill my own mother. Accept it.
It would take a very stealthy group who was weary of an open battle and used their guile more than their blades. You would have much to do, but if this one's master, Leosin, was taken, he would be with them, and he would be a great boon for all to recover. Bear Dusk is a close ally of ours, and it would be important to save such a man. He is well versed in what the cult is about, and we fear that he has been captured, if not attempted, to join them to find more information from within. But if you would be willing to kill your own mother, we would not ask that, but would be willing to pay you a fine sum to go after the cult.
Very well, we will do this while you seek more information on my tent.
Do we recognize anything about this guy? Like, what his origins might be, where he might be from, what kind of organization he's in?
Is Leosin the monk's name we're looking for?
Leosin is the name of the monk you were looking for. I feel like Jamie is the one who took the background, that Leosin is the one who invited her to Greenest. And then Nassim is the young monk who is injured and essentially pleading with the governor and the Castellan at this point. If you find where they camp, track them, follow them. Please do what you can to not be seen. But if you can find where their camp is sighted, maybe count their numbers, even just a rough estimate, and perhaps who their leaders are, why they are attacking, why they are taking people, what actions the cult may be up to. Any information is more than we currently have. It would all be extremely important, and if you gain some sense of where they will attack next, that too will be of the utmost value to us all. And we know you are not allied with the Lord's Alliance. We would have much debt owed to you, even beyond the coin itself. And he will hand over 2 healing potions to the group if you all accept the quest. He's kind of like presenting them to you. We may be able to make more, but a few of our herbalists were able to craft these in the night.
Okay, I'll take one. Thank you very much.
As you all essentially accept the idea to track them to the southeast, you see Nassim kind of like limp over to you all. I hear that you intend to follow them, and I appreciate you looking for my master, Leosin. I would love nothing more than to come with you on this quest, but I fear that I would slow you down. Is there anything that I can help you with? Do you know, Leosin? Have you any questions about what we can do? Anything to help you? It's of the utmost importance for him to come back alive. We are lost without our great master.
Jamie, do you have any questions about your contact?
Nope, I just won't kill him.
Out of curiosity, I'm not familiar with this gentleman. What per se rank or position does he have amongst your monkeyness?
We do not follow a hierarchy, but he is one of our more wise of our order. I call him master only because he saved me in my youth, and it is only by his grace that I am alive now. But in our order, we do not take such things as our worldly titles mean nothing to us. His wisdom guides us, though. We have been investigating and tracking these raiders for many months, and I fear without his knowledge we will lose much invaluable information about what it is the cult is doing, why they have done what they have done this evening. We've not seen them go on raids such as this. This seems very out of character for them to take so many. They seem to be more interested in our valuables than in the past. They've always dug deep for the dragons more than human settlements.
You keep mentioning your order, but what order is this?
We are a small sect of monks who have long sought to waylay the cult of the dragon.
So you don't have a particular name or origin or anything like that? You're just a group of lads?
We are more secretive than we would like to speak such things alive to the uninitiated.
You're not perhaps members of the Mickey Monk Club, are you?
I believe it's the Mickey Rodent Club.
I thought I would ask. I suspect not. We will do what we can, and then I'll look over at Hadar and I'll say, we'll come back with 2 live monks or none at all.
Or maybe
Yes.
just a different one.
I mean, I can count as 2.
That's not what I meant, but I do like your sense of humor. Wisdom is perhaps the most powerful tool and something that some of us lack at, so sure it would be a valuable asset to bring him back and get to the bottom of this. perhaps we can kill two birds with one stone and bring back one of their leaders as well. Is there any possibility that we could acquire some shackles?
You would have to again speak with the governor, but if I understand correctly, anything this town may have is yours for the asking.
Affirmative. It just sort of popped into my head that they may be useful for capturing one of these sons of bitches.
Hey, if anything here is for the asking, can I get a healer's kit? Somehow I acquire more than my fair share of bruises and scrapes.
Perhaps you would ask another. I am injured as well, but my order, we do not possess things. We have given up all of our worldly possessions.
Where'd you get these healing potions?
You guys are currently speaking to a monk.
Come on, Vicious. Let's go down to the talk to someone and see if we can get these couple things we need.
Yes, it's checking on my tent.
If you go back to the actual governor, you can have 2 chances at an extremely high DC to search for items that you would like, including the opportunity to ask him and see what they have at the keep, and then to actually go back to town and see what might be at the I can't even think of the name of it. The equipment depot, the place where you can buy and sell things that would have been essentially destroyed in the raiding. But those would be the 2 different opportunities that you have inside of Greenest to try to acquire things from the player's handbook.
I'm not sure what anyone else needs, but obviously Vicious would like a healer's kit. I know Arlisle potentially needs some bolts for the heavy crossbow. The shackles are kind of just, we don't need them. We could just knock someone unconscious, but somebody may even have shackles from their background.
Yeah, I think if you go to the governor, I think the shackles is the easiest to find, as I'm sure they have some level of a lockup inside of the keep, and that's not something that would really get destroyed. So that's something that you can certainly acquire. Let me have, I guess, Madame Eva do a search for her tent to see what quality it is. Again, all of these are going to be absurdly high DCs, so don't expect to get anything, because again, this town has been destroyed by an evening of a dragon and cult coming through here. But if you all roll high enough, you can find these different things. But for the tent, for the bolts, and for the healer's kit.
Just to make sure no one else has a priority that stays like higher than that. I don't want to speak for everyone. Sounds good. I think everybody roll for their perspective thing then.
You would quickly be able to find your tent, and it's been trampled through the evening. There's tears and like cuts throughout. It wasn't burned. You can possibly salvage it, but at present it is not functional as a tent so much as it would create a semblance of shade.
Alright, I'll take what I can get. So.
But for what it's worth, I think if you either acquire like mending or just replace some different poles, basically, you could turn it back into a tent.
Awesome. Thank you.
So Hadar was looking for the bolts?
No, Hadar's looking for food.
Oh, I was talking about Arlisle. Did you need bolts?
No, I'm very good, thank you. I've analysed his heavy crossbow, and unfortunately, it doesn't fare me quite as well as my javelin throw. So by all means, if somebody could make use of it with some bolts, then I'd be happy to hand it over, but I appreciate the fact that you gave it to me in the first place, my friend.
Oh, of course, brother. No skin off my back.
Do I get a healer's kit?
I think for what it's worth, that is not high enough to find a healer's kit in this town.
Right.
And then, yeah, so that's it. Hadar, you can eat food in front of people who are clearly starving and dying of starvation.
You know, finders keepers.
Yeah, did you really just waste an 18 looking for food?
You know, I just rolled an 18 and I was like, okay, what I'm gonna do with it? I didn't have something contained in mind, so and I'm gonna just look around and look if there's a little kid under the one starving, and just gotta give it the half of my food.
Hey, you're
Go.
chowing down on that like it's your last meal. Do you know something we don't?
You should always go to the fight with a good stomach, with a full stomach. I mean.
All right. So, and then do I need to roll for the manacles or shackles or?
You can roll for it, but again, those I don't think will be difficult to find. It's not something that gets consumed. The hardest thing was definitely the healing, because it would have been used in a battle. That's the biggest thing. The bolts were something that would have been shot, and then the tent was likely to be destroyed. That's why I say it's not really functional until you repair it.
Cool. And do we have a rough direction that we will be pursuing them in, like that we need to depart in?
He said that they seem to have fled to the southeast. You should have little to no trouble trying to track them through the grasslands.
Excellent. I must have missed that. Well, with that, I'm good if everyone else is.
Any other questions for Nassim before you go? Otherwise, you all can begin to head southeast into the green fields, attempting to track the raiders.
I do have one final question. Nassim, when we find your friend Laosin, what can we tell him or say something to him about himself, something that other people wouldn't know, that will tell him that we are clearly allies and that it's safe to come with us? Perhaps some sort of keyword or secret or something that would be nothing to anyone else.
When you meet my master, tell him this, and he will respond with the next part. Those who destroy knowledge with ink, fire, or sword, and he should reply, are themselves destroyed.
We will find your master and repay the debt that you owe him.
That's what the party notes is definitely for, if you want to put those somewhere that you can actually find later.
Oh, word. Good job, Josh. I just wrote it down on my paper anyway.
Yeah, no worries. I can put it in the party notes as well.
Once we're on the road, I will address Vicious and ask her, Vicious, that name sounded awfully familiar. Was that not the name that you had mentioned when we first met you? Who is this gentleman to you, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, after my ship went down, I tried to swim to shore. I could see it, and it took so much effort. And I had almost made it, and that I lost the rest of my strength. And the next thing that happened is I woke up and there was this human who was helping me. It was the most extraordinary thing. Usually, when the humans see us, they kill us.
So this gentleman is a true hero. He has saved 2 people out of 2 that we know of.
Yes, I think he must be extraordinarily kind.
Well, let us hope that luck or fate or whatever gods you believe in should shine as brightly upon us as he has upon you. And then I'll address the whole party. Now, this is a stealth mission. Is there anyone particularly poor in stealthy nature?
I will look down at my big feet and all my clankiness.
Yes, I'm exceptionally bad at it, unfortunately.
I try to be quiet.
Is anybody wearing heavy armor that gives disadvantage, or I think some mediums do also?
Yep, mine. And I have +0 to stealth as well.
Perhaps we can pull some sort of divide and conquer situation or something off. Use our minds instead of our weapons.
You will be tracking the same people who took this entire city this last evening. Please do not engage them. You have to find a way to avoid the battle. Follow their path, track their movements, but try not to be seen.
Affirmative. It should be no problem to track them down. Such a large party will be hard to hide.
You know we shouldn't fight them. You're right about that.
You should not tarry any longer than you have to, but please, if you are ready, find my master and save him. We must get more knowledge about what the cultists are doing. Please, go with all haste. Follow them. Find Laosin.
Let it be done. And I'll get ready to go if everybody's all ready.
Yeah, I would be
Sure.
ready.
If everyone is ready to set off, you can leave through either the eastern roadway or the southern roadway. Either way, as you start to kind of progress towards the southeast, you pretty quickly see just a large swathe of the grasslands that just seem to be trampled beneath the feet of all those who have left Greenest this past evening. It's extremely difficult to get any sense of the numbers that have left, only that it has destroyed the grasslands as they have left. And you just see a mix of prints from humans, kobolds, reptiles, people who seem to be booted in like mail, like actually like wearing armor, those who just seem to be wearing like leathered shoes, others who appear to be moving barefooted, some of those clawed, different levels of like humanoid. And as you kind of continue to progress, you track for about 12 or 15 miles, well into the late part of the day, before you gain the first sight of ahead of you, smoke rising to the southeast from a small fire. It's not a large, it's certainly not a town or a village being assaulted, but it is the first signs that there is a small fire, perhaps a rear guard of the full moving force of the raiders who has stayed behind, but it is the first sign that you are tracking living beings at this point.
Nice. And it definitely seems like we're gaining on them at the rate that we're currently traveling.
You can pretty solidly understand that you seem to be moving quicker than them, that you've already caught up to at least one group.
All right, so I guess ideally we would stay hidden as long as possible and then look for when they're camping, I'm assuming is during the day, and then they're more active at night, but potentially trying to scope out where in lies like the monk or the prisoners in general.
This is essentially coming to dusk when you see this first fire. It's as if they force march through the day. You're like well through the day itself, and light is starting to fail.
Okay. And does it seem like we're getting the impression that they're marching day and night then?
Make a intelligence check. From what you can gather from this, it is likely that they forced march through the day, not for comfort. The night is certainly there to their advantage, but they forced march through the day to put ground between themselves and the place where they had just assaulted.
Doc will sort of like walk up in front of everyone and kind of crouch down to the ground, start like thumbing around in the dirt, and you can't really see what he's doing. And looks like he's maybe like tracking the party or whatever. And then he'll stand back up with his tinderbox and a cigarette. It appears that, and then he'll just share the knowledge that you said, that they marched through the night to try and make haste from us, but perhaps they, or through the day, but perhaps they will camp at night and we can have an opportunity. Is there anyone particularly sneaky or stealthy or agile amongst us?
Well, considering we're standing upwind from them, perhaps it's too late.
I can be a little bit sneaky.
Now's not the time for sarcasm. Or were you being serious? I don't know. I can't tell. I just assumed you were playing jokes.
Well, I'm actually an proficient in stealth. My second name.
We passed for cultists one time. Perhaps we can do it again.
I don't think that will work for me. If that creature sees me again, I'm confident that I will not make it out alive.
Madame Eva and Doc make an intelligence check. Doc, you can rest pretty certain that once you stepped forward, you certainly made yourself more well known, and you can be pretty certain that Madame Eva and Arlyle are under the same issue at this point, that the three of you, for having stepped out into that champion circle, are going to be known as enemies of the cult at this point.
Damn it.
Yes, I suspect we will need to use either stealth or magic to conceal ourselves. So Jan, are you actually like proficient with stealth, or were you just
I'm actually proficient with stealth, but I'm not sure if they would like to see me too.
Oh, with that in mind, you guys also revealed yourselves to Cyanarath, as well as those who were there. It's not like they're passing around pictures of you, but by stepping out into that combat, your faces are known to members of the cult. You are also aware at this point from the actual trampled grass that there's a shitload of cultists who came to this town.
Well, time
Perhaps,
to earn your keep, sneaky boy.
yes, I think perhaps one or the two of us could make ourselves hidden and at least acquire a little information, if not the target.
I mean, we could try.
I'm not proficient, but I have +3, so.
Yeah, it will be enough.
So is the idea to split up the group and one investigate forward towards the fire and the others will hold off?
I think that's the idea.
So is it just Doc and Hadar who are going forward?
If Ernest is right, yeah. Does anyone want to join us?
I am not going to be any kind of stealthy.
Yes, I will only impede your efforts, dear. I do look forward to the excellent stories we'll hear when you get back.
You don't happen to have any little magical tricks up your sleeves that might help us by any chance, do you?
Sure. Don't get hurt. And be quiet.
Let me have a group intelligence check.
How did we do it? Just everyone roll intelligence? Or?
That is correct. Crushing these over there, Madame Eva.
Exactly.
Can we add them?
55. A group check is literally taking the average of all of them. So yes, they will be added, but they also get divided.
I'd like to avoid that division part. We want to be united.
So you guys have revealed yourselves. You are aware of this. But you are also progressing in the train of a massive group of cultists who were clearly a blend of mercenaries, kobolds, actual cultists, and the leaders of the cult. You have a pretty good idea that at any given point that you see people, it is potentially possible that you can put yourselves off as being a part of the cult itself. There is a small fraction who would recognize you on the spot, and a smaller or a larger fraction who have a potential to recognize you as having been a part of the fog of war in an actual combat that you all were a part of that would have gotten away. So there's some who know you and will just recognize you the moment they see you, and there are some who are vaguely aware of what the heroes of Greenest were wearing and their fighting styles that may recognize you. But otherwise, there is a massive amount of chaos about this retreat that can certainly cover you all. Mechanically, you all can attempt to sneak up on this camp with advantage, which would put anybody with disadvantage to a straight roll. So you can make a choice. If you would like to progress forward, Doc and Hadar can certainly go forward alone, but everybody has a pretty solid chance of just moving up because people aren't really watching behind them at this point so much as they are trying to get the fuck out of Dodge.
Alright. We'll sneak up with him.
Is Madame Eva the only other person who's interested in going forward? At this point, let me have a stealth roll from Hadar and Doc.
So do you guys want me to come with? I was just feeding my cat, so I couldn't.
Yeah, come on with us.
I mean,
Oh, Could you hear me while you were feeding the cat, Josh?
I could, yeah. I was just so far away. I wasn't from the control key. I couldn't.
Alright, I got you. So you would be on a straight roll from disadvantage. You would just be a straight roll to actually follow with. Yeah, 22 is crushing it. So at this point, everybody is leaving Vicious behind. Does Vicious stay behind?
All right. Well, if Arlisle is going to go, then I'll go. But, I mean, I warned you. I'm not that quiet. Clonk.
You'll be a 7.
I'm gonna just nip at her and be like, stop yelling.
That's the only volume I know, my.
That's actually not bad.
So, as you all progress forward, you see more and more signs of the trail, and you start to flank off to a side, keeping an eye on the actual smoke rising across the plain rather than tracking the trail that you were once following. And you pretty quickly start to see that the fire seems to be set into like a gully, almost as if they found a rise to get into and behind the actual cover of a little bit of a rise in the grassland itself. And you are able to approach pretty closely to the actual area where there seems to be cultists who are camping. At very least, somebody who is camping here. And as you all get closer, you hear open signs of conversation. Some of it appears to be tainted through the accent of Draconic, so you can rest pretty assured that there's likely some kobolds here as well as cultists, but it appears to be kind of a mishmash of different people speaking. They seem to be kind of bickering between themselves. And within a few moments of paying attention to what is happening, it would appear that you have come across a group who seems to be more focused on enjoying a meal than perhaps paying attention to the actual exodus and their surroundings.
How many are in this group?
At present, you just hear a bunch of voices. You're not actually to a point where you are looking at them.
Gotcha. Can I move to an angle to see where they are or see them?
You can make a further stealth check and then a perception. You spend far more effort in staying stealthy and hidden as you progress forward. But as you kind of go about trying to spot them, there's little that you're able to kind of make out other than the actual silhouettes of the creatures in this area. But overall, I don't think a 2 and a 5 is going to give you much more information than just a number of voices, both kobold and humanoid, that you seem to be coming across, like those who have a draconic accent and those who seem to be speaking a more perfect common. But there seems to be more draconic accented voices than there are humanoid common voices.
That works. Thank you, sir.
Come on, Haydar. Time to pay the bill. Let's see if we can sneak around the other side and get a better look.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
So can we do a stealth check like separately and then attempt to do like a perception check like one of us help the other essentially?
As far as doing perception goes, I don't think the help action really makes sense in a perception check, but you guys can each make a perception check.
I will take my hands and like form them around his ears so he hears better.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with I don't think you can really help somebody make a perception check.
No, that's cool.
It's okay. I just wanted to try.
As you two flank across the other side, moving around the gully, you see a little bit better of a cast of the silhouettes. The sun setting essentially is like not in your eye. It's almost behind you, where Madame Eva sort of moved to the east flank and would be seeing, like, with the sun to her face, you have the sun to your back. You're able to make a little bit better of an understanding of how many creatures might be here, but you're able to count, it could be 3, maybe 4 humans seem to be moving about, and perhaps 5, maybe, is that 7 kobolds? There seems to be quite a few more of the smaller creatures than there are full-sized humanoids, but it seems like this could be a party of 6 to 10, maybe.
All right, and I'm specifically looking not as much for the numbers, but if the prisoners are kept here, if there are prisoners.
Oh, well, shit. No, you see no signs of any prisoners. These seem to be people who, more than anything, don't actually have a burden about them. Damn it. With that perception check, you can pretty clearly recognize that these are stragglers. Rather than gaining an understanding of numbers, you guys gain an understanding that these are people who are slacking off and have fallen behind the rest of the cult.
All right, so I will move back to the group and relay the message that these are just stragglers, not the ones we're looking for. That I would recommend that we try and sneak past them, flank the group, and look like a little deeper as if we could find the ones we're looking for.
So you all can progress far enough away that you feel comfortable enough to have a light conversation. It certainly would not be a good time to yell anything, but you can most certainly have a pretty confident, hushed conversation between yourselves.
These look like some insignificant stragglers that have fallen behind, perhaps the lazy or more casual of the crew. We need to get a little deeper into the heart of it and search for the important ones if we're going to find this monk.
Well, let's speed up then.
I feel like I heard Jamie say, let's beat them up, and that I heard Doc
No,
say we should
speed
avoid
up.
them.
Speed
Speed
up.
up to catch up with them.
Alright, so with little effort, you all can flank beyond these people and leave them behind you into the night. Let me have Arlyle and Vicious make a survival check to track the grass as you all track on through the rest of the evening.
I was better at stealth.
Vicious puts little effort into actually following your prey, but Arlyle is successfully able to track the group as you all follow the large area of downtrodden grass. As you move further and further to the southeast, I need to take a restroom break here, but we will come back. I'll just be back in just a few moments.
Stand exactly on top of the footprints on the floor here. It's less mud.
What was that? I caught like a little bit of it.
Oh, I was just throwing some colour in there, saying we should stand exactly on top of the previous footprints that I'm managing to track because they're less muddy.
Yeah, this area is not really muddy. There's not either footprints either really to step in here. A lot of what you see as you are tracking this is like high reeds that seem to be trampled over. So any points where it's even like a lower area, like a stream bed or something, you would almost have to like, I don't know, like stand and jump for a few moments to get to any of the liquid. It's almost as if there's like a massive sponge on top of any areas that have any kind of water to them.
Then why are your shoes still so messed up?
Oh, it's that bloody Greenest.
There's like a character, a pig pen, that's it, in Charlie Brown. So he's got like a cloud of dust around him.
I'm missing out. I've never seen it.
Yeah, that shit's so funny. Never seen Charlie Brown's Christmas?
Never seen anything to do with Charlie Brown before, no.
Bro, it's a classic. You got to check it out. Snoopy is so funny, and he's got like he's Charlie Brown's dog, and then he's got like these little fucking buddies that like they're like pure comic relief, like cartoons.
I always thought they were just like those like newspaper cartoon type thing.
Pretty
They've got
much.
like yeah, pretty much. But they've got like a couple little like short movies, like little 30-minute movie type deals. And there's one like it's from like I think the late 80s or early 90s, Charlie Brown's Christmas. And I mean it's a total classic. It's like, it's a good story, like kind of kid's story or whatever, but it's also like still funny as an adult.
I'll check it out sometime. I always enjoy a little bit of like comedy type stuff, easy watching.
Yeah, and it's a total classic. And I think honestly it's like 30 minutes long. It's sort of like The Grinch, where it's like you could watch it every year and it's still like entertaining, but it's basically just like a wholesome message, but also like has like comedic moments.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is my go-to annual Christmas film.
I love that.
Oh yeah, Lampoons is awesome. I have like a Christmas checklist pretty much I go down, but like I have like a lot of little cousins in my family and stuff, so some of the Lampoon stuff and some of the adult stuff that's hilarious is a little too old for them. Although they're getting grown now, so.
Die Hard is my favorite Christmas movie.
It's not
Oh,
Christmas
yeah,
until you watch Die Hard.
I reckon I have an argument with someone every year about Die Hard being a Christmas film.
Can't open any presents until Nakatomo Tower blows up.
Nakatomi. Come on, Hans.
Did you notice how though he's like got 2 kids but only brings 1 teddy bear?
Yeah, they fight and the weakest doesn't get.
All right.
I feel like it's only his daughter until like the third or like seventh of the Die Hard movies.
I don't know. At some point they mention he's got 2 kids.
Yeah, he finally fails a paternity test, and then they're like, "Nope, they're both yours." And he's like, "Fuck, now I gotta buy 2 brothers." It was in the deleted scenes.
Well, that's the thing is, he just ends up becoming his character in 12 Monkeys. He never had kids at all.
That's another great movie and like super relevant after all the crazy shit that's happened over the last decade.
Yeah, they had a show out for a while. It was like an episodic. It was pretty good too.
Same name?
Yep.
What was the
Different
show?
story. No, 12 Monkeys.
Oh,
think it
word!
did
I feel
one
like I saw
season.
like a teaser of it.
I think they did one season and then they're like, oh my gosh, time travel is such a hard thing to write about. So they canned it. I also want to say it's sci-fi, so they can everything after 1 or 2 seasons anyway.
Yeah.
Unless it's something like supernatural or whatever.
I feel like anytime you have like a running like season or something, if it's not pre-written ahead of time, it's gonna go to shit after a while.
I don't even think sci-fi like tries to make shows so much as they try to make like introductory seasons that get sold to the bigger cable networks. Like I think
It's
they're
gotta
all
be
about
something
like
like that.
sell something to Showtime rather than actually making something that's entertaining over time.
Exactly.
So as you all progress away from these stragglers, you are now in between what you know to be the main force from following the actual like trail in the grassland and stragglers who have made camp early in the evening to enjoy some food. Are you still progressing at a normal pace? Do we want to start to slow down and stealth through things? How are you all feeling about the pace you are moving and beginning to move in the cover of darkness?
I think now that we've caught up to the main group, it's time to be stealthy at every opportunity.
Yeah, I also believe that we should be focusing on being stealthy because, yeah, getting caught is definitely more dangerous than missing them.
Yes, and with their numbers, getting caught is most likely certain death.
Yes, the shoe shine makes a good point. Maybe we should do what he said.
So sorry, the what?
The shoe shine, remember? That's how you introduced yourself to me, and I'm still awaiting your service.
I believe they're called valets, dear.
That's it. I can make your shoe shine like my head.
Hey, doll, leave your shine box behind and let's scout ahead.
Or you could use some of the shoe polish on your face and your shiny head.
You know, my head is polished since 1985. Let's get back to to the main target.
Considering it's 1498.
He's from a different time. Enter canonical time travel.
Yeah, but the weeks are 10 days long, so 1498 is more like 2000 if you factor in all the extra days.
I think Hadar is Chow Yun Fat's bulletproof monk.
Not incredible.
So Doc and Hadar are going to progress forward alone?
Yeah, I mean, I think the best idea is to try to stealth ahead and find our target first and then have everybody like get up in one spot to try to like free them.
Alright, so there's a higher level of dim light across the plains at this point as the moon rises through the night and as the sun sets, so you have a sense of visibility. You're not completely in the dark here as you go about things, but you are essentially tracking things in a more difficult stance as you are looking through the darkness of what light is scattered from the moon. You all have passed the stragglers. You're probably another few miles forward into the evening, and this would be the first time where you start to see that it's no longer the plains at the edge of the horizon, but there seems to be the rise of mountains as you all get closer and closer to the lands to the south, and you progress further and further to the southeast. I think most people would be able to recognize this as the mountain range that lead to but from here you all can start to gain the first ideas that you are nearing what will be a likely spot for the Cult of Dragons to be hiding off. So let me have the two of you make stealth and perception checks.
Are we still advantage or not?
The advantage was against the rear guard, or the stragglers, because they weren't really paying attention more than anything.
Okay, I'm gonna use a. Oh, go ahead.
Nope, continue.
I was gonna say I was gonna use a point of luck on my stealth roll then.
You are more than welcome to. This is certainly a good time to do so.
Not much better, but a little better.
Definitely better than a 6, though. So as you two start to move forward, it's not long before Hadar reaches back towards you, Doc, and kind of taps your attention, and gives you the clue that you all are approaching a hidden camp that seems to be overlooking the actual grassland where the cultists have passed through. And there seems to be a watch with an overlook across this trail here. And he points out the faces of a few cultists and perhaps kobolds who seem to be on watch, looking over the path that the group has taken. Not necessarily spotting you, but this is pretty clearly the group who is tasked with actually watching the rear of the cultists as they retreat across the plain.
I will nod back at Hadar for his exceptional noticing of the cultist group.
I'm gonna nod back again.
And are we able to spot if there are potentially prisoners, or if this is the group we're looking for, or is this only the overlook group that we're seeing?
You don't really have any sense of their camp. You've basically were able to keep yourselves from getting ambushed as you move through their overwatch.
Excellent. So can we return back to the party, and then are we able to potentially like scout ahead a way to get past this group without being sighted, like with the full party?
Make a wisdom check. The two of you can make one. As you kind of look around trying to spot alternatives, there doesn't really seem to be anything that's clear to you until, again, Hadar, seeming to have a sharper eye for things, notices, like a kind of glint off of the stone, that there does appear to be a way that seems to bypass this area, and it would be kind of a rough guess that it would reattach to the same trail, but you are pretty sure from the general geography at this point that something at this point that kind of dodges around the rock outcroppings will open back up where you could likely find your way back to the actual trampled trail that the entire cult following has gone on, rather than taking you off into a side area that never reattaches. It might be some amount of delay or divergence, but it should get you back, or it likely will rejoin the same kind of plain area.
Doc will give Hadar another approving nod and then signal back towards the party and shake his head. Yeah.
Not sure what he means without the hand signals.
Was that just a message to just Hadar, or is that...
No, that's just a general smart-ass comment because, Goderic used to do all sorts of random hand signals.
Oh, yeah. I was just saying to Hadar, like we scouted the area and now we should rejoin the party and then move down that path, basically.
Yeah,
okay,
so,
that's what I was thinking.
So we regroup and then we go down the... Wait, first we regroup, we need to talk to them. Hey, guys, I think I found the path that we could take.
Yes, Hadar has proved himself rather useful already. He spotted that there is basically an ambush party set up to take out anyone that should approach. But we've spotted, or should I say he spotted, a way around the side that we could bypass them without being seen and then potentially find our actual targets.
Lead the way, dear.
Alright, guys, follow me, and we're gonna take the way I found.
Yeah, and we're going to continue to move at a stealthy pace for the entire party to try to make our way around the ambush.
So, do stealth checks again. I believe Arlyle will be at disadvantage. Everyone else will just be straight.
Lucky Jan got a natural 20, bumping up to 25.
Yeah, nice. Good roll. I mean, overall good rolls, honestly.
Including...
It's the thought that counts, Josh.
I just like to be, taking part in things and feeling involved.
Hey, Arlyle,
Yeah.
put out your lightsaber. You're gonna get us spotted.
But it looks cool. I want people to see me.
So not only are you clanky, but you're also really shiny and reflect any light.
I'm just taking more effort to avoid muddy spots and puddles and things rather than to be stealthy.
As you all progress through this side little trail beyond the rear guard of the cultists, let me have Vicious and Arlyle do survival checks.
That's not good. Nice and the natural.
You see a different point where the path seems to split off into two directions. Your intuition gives you the idea that progressing straight forward is likely to rejoin the larger path that the cult themselves would have taken, that the Overwatch watches over. Again, you're already kind of like parallel to the Overwatch itself. You all would have seen the first signs of their dark camp that's kind of set over the actual area on these like stone embankments. But as you guys progress through this side spot that Hadar was able to see through the moonlight, you are able to see a side path that leads off kind of south and to the east that seems to flank even further around, that starts to actually climb up. It's a narrow path that you would not be able to go like two abreast. It would be one by one as you all progress forward, or the path forward that should rejoin. But Vicious, you would spot this as you all move forward.
All right, so I will mention that. And so do you think we should go straight ahead and find all the large group of cultists?
Or what's the second option?
We take the other direction and follow the smaller group of cultists.
Neither of these trails follow cultists. You are already off the cultist path, essentially flanking where the cultists have traveled. This side path gives you the option to go up higher into the mountains, or to progress forward on the same path that you are on, and more or less stay level to the path that you have left.
Perhaps a vantage point could be useful.
Indeed.
Is anyone against going up this side path? It sounds like Doc and Eva are pointing in that direction.
Sure, let's go.
Sorry, I didn't. I'm having connection problems, so I'm just gonna follow it. I'm gonna say.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll go try to get the vantage point.
Right then.
So you all can follow this path forward. Pretty quickly, you have overlook across the actual group who is camping as the rear guard of the raiders. Having dodged their ambush, you have a more difficult climb that certainly takes a good bit longer to actually progress forward. But as you approach like middle of the night, the moon high in the sky, you would kind of come across the open plateaued top of this area, and before you have a large watch across this area, you would be able to spot the area that the rear guard has set their camp, and maybe a quarter mile beyond that, you see a massive opening into the actual cliff face, and the plateau below you is almost like a open mouth that it gapes open towards the northwest, and it makes like a horseshoe that seems to be the camp of the raiders, and you gain an overwatch view of this area as you progress along this trail and gain your first sight of the raiders' camp. So you all would be more or less like where that overview is set off into the map. Let's try that. Where the overview is set off in the map in like the southwest there, you all are basically having a look across this camp below you. It is probably 80 to 100 feet down the actual cliff face themselves, and you would have not like an amazing view of the actual locations below, but you are able to spot a few different locations where there seems to be tall towers set up about 40 to 60 feet above the land that they're built on. One in the northwest that is a watchtower, and then across the like horseshoe shape of the cliffs, you can spot another watchtower that seems to watch from a almost like mirrored cliff face, and it seems to watch over a higher portion of this horseshoed area. Inside of the opening, there are many different size, kind of like ramshackle huts. They all seem to be thrown together in the last few moments, almost like yurts. And these different forms of encampment seem to be pretty clearly tiny, small ones prepared for kobolds, and then larger ones that seem to be prepared for the humanoids. And then outside in the northeast, or I guess really kind of like the straight east, you see that there are many guards standing at the ready around a single, largest of all, yurt that is to the east. So that would be kind of like the overview of what you see from this point. But you can probably spot about 30 to 50 tents at any given point as you look across this camp. It's pretty quick to recognize that there are many hundreds of people encamped in this area.
And number 2 appears to be the heavily guarded area.
Yep, that's correct.
Perhaps we can make our way over. It looks like the area to the east is heavily guarded. But if we could perhaps sneak down to that watchtower and take out the guards, we would have a better chance acquiring our target.
Sure, I'm happy to go with whatever at this point. I don't really mind.
I missed the part where the area was described because my connection was really, really bad. But I'm gonna trust Doc with his.
Can you see where I'm clicking on the map?
Yeah, I see.
That's where we're assuming the prisoners are held. There's a bunch of guards outside of a tent, and then this is a watchtower, and this is a watchtower. So my suggestion was to come around, post up the group around this area here, and then potentially like sneak down to the watchtower and take out the guards. And then ideally, if this is less than 100 feet, I believe he said, maybe we could do like a rope situation down here and then take out this little portion of the enemies, free the prisoners, and then exit back up the rope and then peace out, hopefully without being noticed. But at least it would take time for all these people to get to us. And theoretically, none of these people would be able to get to us.
Well, I'm not very stealthy, so how about you guys go down, and I'll stay up top near the watchtower, and if anything goes wrong, I'll set fire to it to pull some attention.
Question would be, how would we open the prisoners? Maybe in a cellar? I don't know, in something kind of a cage or something. Are they?
I'm assuming that based on the travel, that if they are held, they are likely shackled and guarded. But it is always a possibility. We may have to improvise, but there's no way we're going to be able to battle through the entire group to get over there. But I think taking out this tower should be our number one priority.
Yeah.
At present, you would see no signs of any captives. You could note with little difficulty that, again, you can always try to deceive your way through the town or through this little encampment. You could infiltrate the encampment and try to be stealthy, which would also include infiltrating from above and taking that tower and moving down. Or you could spot pretty quickly that there's occasional patrols, but they tend to be between the actual yurts and huts rather than around the edges, that perhaps keeping to the edges of the cliff face might be a viable place as well. But those are probably the 4 main ways that you would immediately notice different like potentialities of approaching this camp if you were to try to look for Leosin.
So I like the idea of Doc just taking the tower first, and then we try to be I mean, everything in a stealthy way, and then go down to the number and look and step around and look what we can find.
Yeah, so what if we did like a similar situation, where like the two of us came down here to the tower, at least try to see how many guards there are. The rest of the party made their way over here, and then basically we like flank them. We try to do a surprise while the rest of the party does like a flank, but obviously just try to stay like super stealthy. And number one priority, take the tower without being noticed.
One good thing is if I fall down a cliff, I can take a slow fall.
What a wonderful initial thought. If somebody throws me off the cliff, I won't die.
You know, I had enough of dying for one session.
Self-preservation is a key character concept.
You won't
I
die
have
by
50
falling.
foot of rope.
My bad, Doc. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just gonna say I have 50 foot of rope. If we could get another 50 feet from somebody else, and then the two of us basically like silently scale this wall. I mean, first like try to do a lookout from right here, but silently scale the wall down to here while the rest of the party like flanks down here. Essentially, try to keep it quiet, but take them out without signaling the whole army. But I think
Yes.
theoretically, based on like angles of view and everything and the height, that if the party stays up against this rock face on the way down, they won't be able to be visible like from the ground theoretically, especially if we don't like use a bunch of torches or whatever. But I'm open to anyone else's recommendations, suggestions, plans, plots, ideas, smart ass comments.
I'm gonna pull up my rope and show it to Doc.
And does it look like that's less than 50 feet, the small cliff right there?
Above the watchtower, that cliff's
Yeah.
probably. I mean, you guys are pretty far away as you look at it from here. You're probably close to like a half mile away from it. But it's not taller than the actual watchtower itself. So you can gather. Make a wisdom check for me. Or perception, if you have perception as a proficiency. It seems to be a pretty massive tower, but at the same time, you are quite a ways away from it. And again, the actual cliff face behind it is not any taller than the tower. So it seems if the tower is almost built to be hidden behind that. So anybody approaching from the northeast would not actually see the tower overlooking this area, that it would seem like a flat plain as you approach from that direction. But the actual cliff face beneath it is that's such a bad perception. The cliff face beneath it is much larger, though there are like massive scree and boulder fields that seem to be stacked up against that cliff face as well.
Seems like the best idea would be to get a little closer so we can have some idea what's going on. What if we made our way all the way to like the eastern portion of the map, like where the E would be on a normal compass?
You can most certainly make your way around the bowl of the gully here. Make perception checks for me as you look around.
And we definitely want to remain stealthy as a party.
You all can make stealth checks for me as well. Are you away from your computer right now, Ben? Are you going to pick up your little one?
Yeah, give me 5 minutes.
Oh, you're good. I'm about to just roll it with your character. Alright, so as you all move around the southeast edge, you do spot along the western edge of the higher plane of this gully, you do see a row of essentially like people drawn out into X's as their limbs are stretched out both up into the sky with their arms and down to the ground with their legs. And you pretty quickly spot about 8 humanoids who seem to be splayed out into this wall. And they all seem to be essentially like, whether it's wood or stone, they seem to be almost like set up in sacrificial altars, or perhaps just this is the way that they keep their prisoners. But you are pretty quickly able to spot that the prisoners are held along this western wall there. And then as you approach closer to the east side of the actual gully, you see, again, many guards who seem to be out and about in that larger of the yurts, but a constant flow of them seems to be moving to and fro in that actual area. And then it would be about the first time that you're close enough to the actual towers themselves to see that all of the guards inside of the towers are essentially manning areas where they have horns to notify below if there is any sort of infiltrators, assault, or issues about.
All right, so this looks like it's actually the prisoners. This looks like it's maybe the leaders. And then how many guards are we seeing here?
It's a rather well fortified area. At any given point, you seem to spot a few of the guards, but you're still a little bit too far off to get a good count of them. But it is clearly set up as at least some sort of prepared long shift manable area. So while it's not like an actual tent itself, they seem to be almost like a self-sustaining little spot where the guards might be for quite some time. There's not nearly as much flow of traffic up to or like from these things, but you do see like almost a constant like switching of the guards as they themselves like take watch for a little bit, and then all of a sudden another one pops forward. But they're far enough away from you still that you can't really spot a big difference between them, other than just humanoids seem to be manning these towers. And there's usually 2 in view at any given point.
Can we see any distinguishing markings on any of the prisoners here that might lead us to believe that one of them is the monk?
Not in particular. There's not enough ability to spot color under moonlight. And that's about the only thing that you really know to look for, is that Leosin wears that like sea mist blue robes.
All right, so given our new knowledge, I think still the initial plan should be take out the guard tower without them alerting everyone, and then after that, scale down the wall, but now where we know there's prisoners, rather than the initial idea, which is probably the main like captain or leader of the raiding party, which is at 2 where we were originally thinking. So essentially, like, take out the same tower and then go after 1 with the same plan that we had before instead of going after 2.
Okay, sounds good.
Doc is our big brain at the moment.
I need to get out and take a call.
Yep, this is set up to be the end of the mission, is giving you all the perspective on the next session's upcoming assault. So I've got notes that you all will be looking to capture that tower. You know that the biggest thing for you all to go after is to jump them fast and not allow them to sound the alarm. And then that Leosin is likely on the other side of the gulch. But that is essentially the tower that would have a view of that location. Other than that, you would just have the little bits of patrols who would be moving about. Perhaps the one thing we didn't necessarily talk about yet is the question of if you all want to try to assault tonight when darkness is in their favor, but it is also the fact that they are operating under like the black and white vision of darkness, or when the light is in your favor and when kobolds are less functional, but the humanoids would be essentially on a level ground with you. So that's probably the big decision for you all to keep in mind as we break for the week. But otherwise, you have a overview of the camp. You have a solid location where it is for when you do return to Greenest, and hopefully have located where Leosin is, and then also have an idea of where the tower that you should assault is.
Let's insult the tower. I've seen taller towers made out of shot glasses.
I bet this tower can't even hold Hader.
As you all do round that like eastern area, you do notice pretty quickly that these towers are like loosely lashed together. They are not the type of place where you will feel secure, but they seem to function as a place for a watch.
Do I get the feeling that this, whatever this cavern that they're in, is in the shape of a foot?
I feel like that's kind of random. I don't think this is meant to be anything's actual foot placement here.
Right, sure.
I mean, I've always felt like D&D was weak on how large they made giants, and I definitely don't think I've ever heard of any other creatures being larger than the giants, so I'm kind of sticking with that thought. But it does...
Tarrasque footprint.
Oh, right. Yeah, I mean, even the Tarrasque, though, I don't think in particular, the Cult of the Dragon is interested in raising the Tarrasques. I feel like they have more confidence in Dragonoids, Draconic.
Right. Yeah, and I don't think Tiamat's that big either.
Certainly not her avatars.
Well, that was an awesome session. Thanks so much.
But yeah, let me know if you all have any other questions. Jamie, that is essentially, again, the end of the session. At this point, it is prepared here for you all to plot and plan so you can approach this camp strategically next week. But you definitely... You did a good job tracking them. The stragglers was the option to get information about the actual, rear guard. And then fucking Hadar crushed it with that 22 perception, because without any information, it takes a 20 perception to avoid getting ambushed there. So that was a fucking awesome roll to, I think that was a crit for the 22, but that was clutch to be able to spot the raiders at the rear guard, because they were the ones who were actually prepared, essentially not like having dinner, because that was what really threw off the other ones, is they're like a bunch of slackers who are just sitting back eating. I think it's like prairie dogs, basically.
They didn't know we brought Thicky Smooth with us.
Yeah, it really played well for Ada.
And then again, also, you would be close enough at that point to spot that like upper cliff is probably like about like 30 to 40 feet. It's plenty enough that you can get down with a single length of rope. And then you're probably going to have to find a way to manage like two lengths together to get down the cliff towards where the prisoners are.
Thick Boy Stealth Glove.
You know, if you want to imagine how Hader looks like, just imagine of a thicker version of Danny DeVito.
Dude, Danny DeVito in Renaissance Man was looking really fit for a Danny DeVito. I feel like I'm so used to watching Always Sunny that I'm just used to him being just like a big round ball, instead of like, he was like the fittest I've ever seen in that shit.
Yeah, I must say Danny DeVito, just because I feel like he's so small. In some movies he looks more chubby than he is actually. But I feel like that's the reason, because I'd say that you have to imagine a fatter version of Danny DeVito, not the.
I feel like Danny DeVito and Tom Cruise are the same height, so like 4'4".
Yeah, I love the fact that Tom Cruise is just hiding his height so much.
Dude, whenever I picture Danny DeVito, I picture the Penguin from Batman.
See, the penguin attachments for that always make me forget about that Batman level. But that was definitely, he crushed that shit as the Penguin. He was an awesome Penguin.
I feel like the cast from that series of the Batman movies was fucking amazing. Like, Poison Ivy was so good. Mr. Frost or Mr. Freeze or whatever was so good as Arnold. Like, they killed it through all that.
Yeah, I feel like that Batman with Poison Ivy and Mr. Frost is kind of one of the wildest, like, behind the scenes, to find out that, like, none of those actual stars ever worked together. They all filmed their parts, like, completely separated, and it was, like, all cut betweens, like, the actual, like, film cuts that place them in the same scenes. And that kind of, like, throws that, like, into a new light when you're like, yeah, that Batman was a big fuck up.
Yeah, the two Tim Burton ones are good, but I think, what is it, Joker and, not Joker, Joker as Jack Nicholson and Penguin as, or Danny DeVito as Penguin.
Yeah, that was definitely my personal favorite, I think, of those old school Batmans. And I think another problem was, like, the Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy one was, like, the first one where, like, the toys actually drove the storyline. And that was one of those things that really, like, twisted how the movie, like, came out. because they were like starting to realize how much money was behind the actual like marketing rather than like marketing the movie on its own merits.
Well, that was also with George Clooney as Batman.
And
Yeah,
that was
George
the
Clooney as
nipple.
Batman, Alicia Silverstone as the Batgirl or whatever.
And then they had what was it? Jim Carrey as the Riddler, which was good.
Yeah, I loved the Riddler out of that one. I mean, I always thought that was a really good actual movie, but you can definitely see how much of a shit show it was, like, in hindsight. But, like, as a kid, I fucking loved that shit.
Yeah, definitely stacked cast. Like, I feel like up until, like, the Avengers Endgame, there was probably never a superhero with that many, like, badass actors.
Yeah, I'd say that.
And, I mean, Endgame really probably only takes a cake just because there's, like, 100 superheroes.
Who directed it? I think it was like Michael Bay or something too, right? One of his first. Let me check.
Yeah, that sounds right, actually. And it seems like it kind of goes along with like the Michael Bay like movie way. Yeah, that's what's up. That was an awesome session. It was definitely crazy to be sneaky. Hopefully we can pull it off a second time.
Joel Schumacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
That's
even know
great.
who that
Cheers.
is.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks everyone. Thanks Mara as well. And catch you all next week.
Okay, y'all have a good one. Yeah, a lot of this campaign ends up being that question of you're almost always, if you're presented with enemies ahead of you, you have to either find a way to murder them in an instant so they cannot alert others, or you have to actually subvert the combat with deception and or like a charade of sorts. So that's one of the things that like you are almost always presented with insurmountable odds, and it's an appeal to your allies and your intelligence that can get you through the situation, because there is always that like impending doom of these people are like a world-ending threat.
Yeah, I really like the sneaking today, and I mean not only today. I like that the last session also we were able to save some people and everything. So that's great.
Oh, I think you guys did a great job with Greenest. As far as things went, I think you ended up tackling most of the big issues. I feel like the first time that I threw out a hint that you could take somebody as a prisoner, it didn't really stick to anybody's thoughts. And by the time I said it like explicitly, hey, you should take a prisoner, it was pretty much beyond where you guys were questing out. It was really more of a question of if you went after Madame Eva's tent and you could potentially try to capture somebody. But overall, like, it was meant to just be a teaser that they were still absolutely like flummoxed about what the cultists were doing. All of their stories were about all of this death and destruction. And essentially it was one of those things where they were preparing this town with fear before they actually came, so everybody was in chaos once they actually invaded, rather than that they came and killed everybody in Islador? I can't even think of the name offhand. Erebor. And that was one of the things that like threw everything for a loop, in that they weren't actually like murdering everybody. They were just trying to sow the seeds of fear to take everybody off of their like off kilter, so they couldn't put up a solid defense.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay. Thank you for today. Have a good night. I don't know what time it is over there. A good day or whatever. So I'm out of here.
Yeah, sorry about Araxis.
Yeah, no problem. I must say I felt I didn't. Some of the rouge wasn't the Arcantrixer rouge wasn't for me. I didn't feel I didn't know when to use the mage hand and stuff and everything. I think I didn't even use it once. So I'm okay with switching.
I mean, this is a continual campaign where you guys can meet dragons on a regular basis, and I don't think a dragon is ever not a potential to destroy characters. So keep in mind the situations where the rogue can be useful, and if you have another character die, I would definitely suggest checking out the rogue again, because it is one of those things where
My connection is there.
Oh, word. Well, you can consider the application of the rogue for the future in case you do have another death. Otherwise, have a great night here, Jan.
Take it easy, Jan. Good job today. All right, I'm out too. I'll see you guys later. Good session. It was fun.
Have a good night, guys.
Yep, be well.
Later, Ben, Jamie. Here,